let's just call this an event which not many people will know about. But just because not many people know about this event, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a bad event. Sometimes the greatest gems are the ones that are the most hidden. And when it comes to here in the majors, this event has a special place on the calendar. Many have questioned it, but I, for one, am going to love it because we are at Phoenix International Raceway and we are here for what is the Copper Classic here on iRacing Live and RaceSpotTV. Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening to all of you around the world as I switch from a soft intro to a hard intro. I am #YouMine Jake Sperry, the observer of sim racing, and of course, the one who will be taking you through the play-by-play for this afternoon. Joining me is the person to my left-hand side, Mrs. Cameron Walsh, and of course we've got Hugo Louise back in behind the cameras for this one. And Cam, this is a very unique event. You talk about an event which is heat-based. You're talking about an event with vehicles that are very highly strung to be working around. And honestly, for what's going to be happening today, I think this one could go any one of about 7 or 8 different ways.
Absolutely, and hello everybody, and welcome to PIR. Of course, the Silver Crown cars. This is kind of the first image that quite a few of these Europeans are not only going to be seeing, but hearing, but watching this race. Just an introduction, 819 horsepower put out of a 355 cubic inch methanol-fueled racing machine that is based on the original 1970 Indy cars. The front engines, low weight, manic machines, these things will do about $170 mile an hour. So very exciting racing machines, but very, very unique to the United States.
Yeah, we are very unique to the United States, but of course, we're getting ourselves ready for action. We're going to step aside very quickly for one moment. We'll be back with more after this. The best thing about sim racing is sometimes expect the unexpected. For myself, it is expect myself to get things wrong from time to time. We're almost about there, getting pretty much ready to get things going. The pace car lapping itself around as we're getting ready to get things going. Fanatec on the front of the number 49 machine on the inside that we've got going on. This is the first heat that we are keeping our eyes pretty much focused. Lights should be green this time by Jamie Fluke on the front row, with David Baker second, with Tapine Luoto and Corda Colon next, with Eric Micker, Kurt Crum, and Dawson Brock, Hector Pereira. That rounds out your top 8 as things stand. But this is, of course, a race of 50 laps that we are having here. This first heat is always going to be difficult. Pace car dives down onto the lane. Eyes now on Jamie Fluke. The green flag flies for the first heat then of this afternoon's work. And well, Fluke easily gets the whole shot into NASCAR 1 and 2. Baker following behind, battle for third. Cordo Cologne looks to go to the high side to look to make that move. But Cam, we're safe through the first lap.
High-powered machines going through the dog leg. That's on the back stretch, and they're now going into corners 3 and 4. Here comes Fluke, and these cars, they basically have one main gear. That's it. That's what you got to use. And so these guys are powering through it right now. They're going to get themselves up to speed. Already going about 115 mile an hour in the corner. That is an extraordinarily fast speed, these things. A lot of people think they're just smaller, maybe less powered machines that are kind of a training car to get to a sprint car. No, no, no. These things are absolute mammoth beasts, and we're seeing that on the racetrack.
We certainly are side by side. Dawson Brock then trying to go through on the driver of Kurt Crum, or shall I say the other way around. Crum can't make it happen. Look at the switch back in front. The Daytona 500 winner, Eric Mika, trying to attack Tapani Lillowoto, the championship leader, as things stands, but unable to really make anything happen. The top two who qualified in terms of qualification, they're automatically booked, Cam, into this one, but it's the fight for 9 spots into the final. We're going to have ourselves top 20 for the A main.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got 2 splits going on right now, so let's see how these guys handle it. Eric Mickey, he's just trying really hard to look around to see where he can find as Cordell Cologne slides up the racetrack just a hair. That allows Stefani Liniolotto run to the inside line to finish, running on the ovals. As he's running down the inside, they let off the throttles. He actually has to brake check a little bit. Everyone stacks up, but Liniolotto should get the position.
Good do. I also saw Stefan Schlacker run into a bit of issues as he went spread eagle, almost collects the outside wall as well, puts him under pressure. Then Stephen Baxter to the high side, looking to make that move, and you're seeing how Schlacker is struggling right now, Cam, to get things going. Bit more contact, and Baxter has to back out of it. It is worth talking about this fact that we're running, I believe this is going to be the old format of Phoenix, or am I wrong in that one?
This is the 2008 of the Phoenix, which means it's a bit bumpier, track's a little bit more worn in, and I think it presents a quite bigger challenge. Also, it's base-free content in the iRacing package, so helps out with a lot of these European guys. It wouldn't be very fair to... They already had to get the car. I mean, it's that part they couldn't just hand out, but, you know, making the track a little easier for them to access. As somebody's pulling down pit lane, Robert Lundgren. Some damage on the front end of that machine, so he is not going to be having a good one.
No, he's not. Side by side, Grizzly versus Bombshell, Mika versus Cologne, and Cologne on the high side is going to have to work. Of course, you can't now run the apron here, of course, with the old layout, so it's going to mean that Cologne on the outside is going to have to work high and try and rubber in that high side to make the move. For now, I don't think that he's going to be in a position where he can do too much about it, so thank you very much. Cologne holds position, Mika and Brock now going at it, so one Grizzly battle to another, and you may need a little bit of help here from Kurt Crum, but he's under pressure now because here comes Hector Pereira to the inside.
Yeah, meanwhile, Jamie Fluke is absolutely pulling away. He has got a 1.3 second gap just like that, and Baker has got about a second gap over Liniolotto. And then you got basically the rest of the field kind of split between 2 separate little groups here, and that's putting on a pretty good show. Some good fighting between Schlacker, Lopez, and Baxter, as well as Kip Stevens arriving on the scene, as well as Sylvian Malone. Now these cars, you're committed to the corner, Jake. It's you not necessarily unfamiliar with oval racing, but it's not something that you've really spent too much time on. You know that in a road course you can abort a corner. These ones you have to basically you're once you're in the corner, and that's it. Yeah, somebody hits the wall and hits hard, and he chucks his car up. That's Salvo Lopez as he hits the wall, and his tires shot him up into the air.
Yeah, you had to be really careful about that. If you start getting air, it's going to be almost uncontrollable. Salvo Lopez getting away with one then. Jamie Fluke leads this one. The gap over a second and a half at this stage to David Baker. David H. Baker in second position. 1.6 seconds. The gap as things stands to Pinelli Luoto trying to chase down in third, but it's this train fourth on backwards which is producing most of the action that we are seeing. This is the one stuck behind Cordell Cologne with Mika, Brock, Crum, Pereira, Barraclough, Niskanen all in that train, and Niskanen at the back of this train, Cam, third in the championship, currently holding one of the last bastions of hope in 10th position, knowing just how quick Jamie Fluke has been.
Yeah, and I mean, anything can happen. I mean, it's only going to be a matter of time before Fluke starts encountering lap traffic, and at one incident, one mistake on a corner, and it can all be over, especially with cars like these. It's been described to me as if you're not pointing at the corner and then turning at the last second, you're not pointing at the outside wall and then turning at the last second, you're not going to be going fast in these machines. So quite extreme as far as talent goes that is needed to wheel these things, and these guys are doing a pretty good job of it. Largest field I've ever seen for Silver Crown. Eric is really trying to hustle Corbell Cologne, and then you've got Dawson Brock there as well. But Jake really shouldn't be too out of the ordinary, I'd have to say, for these for a European driver to come over and basically drive a machine that's based on the old 1970s Indy cars, because, well, back then that was a pretty standard European race.
Yeah, it certainly was. So it's about how they manage that history. Big slow run off of the exit there, almost forcing 3 wide. The block thrown by Eric Micker then as he looks down to the inside on Cordell Cologne, looking to work the low side, looking to maybe get a little bit of help. Gets a little bit squirrely actually through the mid part of the apex there, through 3 into 4, almost caught the apron and has to drop back into line. You can see also further back in this one, I believe that is David Barraclough, Torque Freak Racing, looking to attack Hector Pereira. That one not working. They're jostling for position, and 15 laps, no caution so far. Battle for second as well, Cam hotting up. Little Luoto's caught his man.
Yeah, which is surprising. I've always presumed David Baker be a bit of a quick California boy in his hot rod there, but Tapani Liniolotto, I mean, I'm presuming at this point, is there a car that we're going to find that he is slow in? I'm not sure. But we also got to remember we've got stints to run. We're running only 50 laps here. We're on lap 15, or lap 16, excuse me. So Liniolotto goes to the inside. He gets the position. Baker doesn't give him really any wheel because he realizes, hey, that's what's going to happen. And here's the lap traffic. Here's Patrick Nice.
Yeah, and that's certainly going to be the case. Got side by side as well, so Nice is going to have to give the position up to David Baker and Lin Luoto. Mika, though, down to the inside on Cordell Cologne. Again, gets hung up down on the bottom and loses 1 position. Here comes Dawson Brock to give a little bit of help then to Cordell Cologne. This could make it 2, but behind that as well, Kurt Crum under pressure. He's trying to keep Hector Pereira at bay to give Mika the chance to attack. And now Eric Mika just about holding that position for the moment, but look at the run that Brock's getting on the high side. The high side certainly working more than the low side in these machines, and we're seeing here Mika now really trying to run them into the corner and loses the position.
It's really because they can get the throttle down. It's all based on that right rear traction.
Oh, and that was Cologne, who will drop 3, 4, 5 positions. Miscommunication. 4 wide we almost go. That was Patrick Nice. And I have to say, Cordell Cologne, nowhere to go. And I'm wondering if he's got any damage, because he really had to wheel that one to get that one sorted.
Yeah, and Nice, that car was pretty significantly damaged to begin with, and it was a lap car, and really Cordell Cologne didn't really have much to go. There's not much evasive action you can take in these machines. You can't, like, put on the brakes as Mickey's running wheel to wheel with David Barraclough, and the 555 is rolling there, and somebody gets a little loose. Marcus Niskanen coming off the apron there. They tap a little bit of an apron, so all sorts of wheel-to-wheel action going on the racetrack.
But crucially, we stay green for now as Hector Pereira gets a little bit of contact with Barraclough. Rubbing is very much racing, but I wonder, Cam, with exposed wheels like these machines have, I wonder how much rubbing can you do before racing doesn't become a factor?
I mean, the cars seem to be fairly sturdy here as they're working around Sam Wheatley now. As the lap traffic is completely encircled around. I think you could almost go to the blimp cam. If we go to the blimp cam, you could almost see and then just zoom way out, and you can see the entire racetrack, and you will see dots all the way around this 1 mile racing circuit. That is, everybody's all together now, and it's my most entertaining part, but for these drivers, it's going to get frustrating real quick, Jake, especially if you're one of these lead guys trying to get through.
And if you are one of these lead guys, if you are Jamie Fluke, if you are Tapani Liniolotto, you will hope to catch them 1 at a time. The lap times Jamie Fluke has been putting in, well, it was a 26.1 that we first saw, and the drop-off actually in times has been really consistent from Jamie Fluke. He's only dropped off, I'd say, about 0.2 of a second, Cam.
Yeah, and it's all just going to be about decisive maneuvering here. It is not going to be that big of a deal, I think, for Jamie Fluke to handle traffic. Not going to be a big deal for Tapani Liniolotto or David Baker. But I'm surprised that Dawson Brock was able to check out. It looked like Cologne was really not necessarily holding everybody up, but he was really kind of that where everyone was bottlenecking. And once they've gotten that battle sorted out, they started really sorting themselves out. And so It's still a Grizzly card in 4th, but not the one they would have thought, as we're almost getting to halfway.
And Cordo Cologne, a man under pressure. Niskanen to the inside. There's Stefan Schlacker in there. Koyoshi Kelly and Stephen Baxter. Baxter, arguably the driver of the day when it came to the Daytona 500. He managed to make some very, very aggressive moves. But look at this. Schlacker down to the inside here of Marcus Niskanen. Big wiggle through the first part of the corner through 3. And through 4, he manages to hook it up on the inside. And look at that run from Stefan Schlacker. That was beautifully done, but it's not out of the woods just yet.
Yeah, the 117, that's the number that I have on my helmet at my fire department. So always happy to see that number out there, out and about. So Stefan Schlacker is there, going to almost run 3 wide, runs to the inside of Cologne. Schlacker seems to really be able to find the grip. He kind of disengages, gets a little slow, and then he wraps the car up. He winds that throttle up so he gets a good exit, even though he drips a little bit here down to the start-finish line, but he gets the position. And that's really kind of a thing here. You want that right rear getting as much power as possible. You need to get that thing going. And that slick, that rear slick to well, basically stick. And so that's why that high side was really good at the start, but I'm seeing a lot of cars having some good progress on the inside.
They certainly are now. I think that inside starting to rubber up. Kip Stevens, for example, has just got through on Sam Watley. That one not for position, but lap traffic. As again, you're seeing Baxter trying to work the inside with Marcus Niskanen up high. Cordo Cologne sort of throws a little half block in that situation, causes Niskanen to drop out of the throttle, and things look to continue. The battle for P6 as well. Keep an eye on this one. This one definitely not over, as it's now Hector Pereira versus David Barraclough going on. Barraclough on the outside, looking to try and make that push, and he's going to try and just pick up the run off of the exit, looking for maybe an up and under attempt, but you can see now just how much difference there is through the dogleg on the run to 3 and 4.
Yeah, and Barraclough is just looking. He stays super high. This is a very high line, which means he's going to be able to get his machine slowed up. He gets on the throttle earlier, and then he might have had the opportunity to go in the over-under, but he committed to just slow a little too early. If he did that maybe a tenth later, he could have had maybe the over-under, but just not happening this lap. So Barraclough is searching for the grip, and you can see Kurt Crum in the background. He's trying to search for that grip, too. He wants to see where he can really spike those tires of his, and you can just see Barraclough, he's staying high. Pereira, well, he knows no matter what, he's going to have to stay low, and as long as he hangs in the apex of the over-under, he should be defensive, and well, here goes Barraclough, but this is kind of the other part I was going to talk about, Jake. You can't really steer right in these machines.
No, you can't really steer right. This is a very highly strung machine. It's so easy for the vehicle to snap on you. I've heard people say, well, I can't turn it in, it will snap, and I can't not turn it in because it will also snap. So it's almost like Schrodinger's vehicle at this stage, Cam, in the fact that it's so difficult to manage.
It is. It's a bit like, I'm trying to think of very technically involved instruments. People can play like a bass guitar. I can play a bass guitar. I can play a harmonica. I can't play some ancient instrument from the 1800s that you need 7 degrees and the touch of Beethoven in order to do. These machines are like that. These are very, very instrument built. They're very designed for short track, high speed running with aerodynamics and all the funs. You know, this whole front, it is all aerodynamics. As you can see, David Barraclough washes out. He's given a little bit of a gap to Pereira. Pereira is actually using that inside line. He's closing in on Mickey. It is a very, very unique in that it is built to the 1th degree. It's built like a Formula 1 car is built to go fast on a road course. These are built to go faster on a short track.
And we've had ourselves 33 laps when Jamie Fluke crosses the line of green flag running, as he will look to get to lap 34, 26.2 that last time by, goes across the line from a 26.254 to a 26.452. So he's just had a little bit of a slower lap that time by, so just starting to check things up. Baxter now side by side trying to get around Koyoshi Kelly. Niskanen up on the high side, maybe looking to try and get the run off of the exit. Baxter unable to fall back into line because of Niskanen there on the outside, looking to go for this one, battle for P12, P11. As things stands, they're going to struggle to get into the A main with this result. This is pretty much, Cam, the battle for the final positions. They need to stay with Schlacker as the battle in front intensifies.
Yeah, absolutely. And Stefan Schlacker, I mean, he started in 17th position, and he is now up to 9th. That is very impressive. Cordell Cologne, he's the one that's dropped down. He started in 4th, he's dropped all the way back down to 13th, so he's not going to be happy there in the Grizzly machine as the 117 continuing to try to work his way through. His lap times are actually not that far off the leaders, only 0.3 per lap, and that's pretty quick. Of course, obviously, with this being a short track, that doesn't mean he's going to be closing in on him anytime soon, but it's still good as there's a good side-by-side battle between Baxter and Kelly.
Yeah, and they made a little bit of contact through turn number 4 as they head into NASCAR turn number 1. Koyoshi Kelly on the inside. Baxter goes incredibly high, looking to up and under here, trying to get the run off of the exit, maybe throw one down to the inside. This one, the battle for position 11, is going to get that one straight back again here as he looks to try and sort the run out. But the more that they keep trading like this, Niskanen's going to keep pulling away. He's now back to Stefan Schlacker. Exactly what is going to be good. And of course, we got ourselves 13 from each going to the A main. So at this stage, Cordell Cologne could be the man in the safety barrier, but look at this, Kip Stevens going to the inside. He wants P13.
Yeah, and Schlacker was able to defend the inside. He ran a little bit of that apron as here comes Kip Stevens, as you were saying, on Cordell Cologne, and here comes Frank Oosterhuis. He wants to get on this too, and you can see how snappy the vehicle gets. He had to get off the throttle, and that unloads the suspension, throws the car. Kip Stevens, he's trying, they make contact. Cologne goes up the track. He's going to lose a bunch of positions.
And Salva Lopez down to the bottom. Frank Oosterhuis, not really too much to do. Too wide, they continue. We stay green for now as we now look to the inside, and Cologne big into the rear of the driver of Salva Lopez. Cologne is about holding it, but I think he'll need to come down soon. He is very out of shape as Watley hits the wall.
And it's been very impressive that he's been able to hold this machine, but at some point he's going to realize, I can't do it, somebody's in the wall. That's going to pull out a caution. Sam Wheatley and Andrei Rajkovic, they have pulled out the first caution.
Oh, and Jamie Fluke almost gets caught in that after Andrei Rajkovic ran into trouble. So Rajkovic came down turn number 1. He started pulling up the circuit. I can't really blame Watley in that situation. Yes, he was lap traffic 3 laps down, Cam, but he was holding his line on the high side, and it was all Rajkovic running up.
I think Cologne, he saw the rear of Cologne slip a little bit, and then he just got too much speed, and Sylvain Melon just ended up causing a little bit of a hiccup, and Andrei Rajkovic came in and cleaned up. So very unfortunate there, but we have got our first caution, and now this is going to be the interesting thing. You're going to have Lignolotto starting outside Jamie Fluke.
And Jamie Fluke, let's not forget, had a very good run. He was able to pull out a gap of about 4 seconds or so, Cam. But all that work, all those 4 seconds that he brought up in 40 laps of running is now going to go completely away again. And with just 10 laps to go, I wouldn't say tyres because we haven't seen any drop-off. No. I think fuel's definitely going to be safe. I think we're going to see most of the drivers stay out for this one. But I think that if you are Lignolotto, you've got a lot of opportunity now to book your place perfectly into the front row of the A main.
Yeah, and I don't really think these cars pit. They're not really like pitting machines. You can throw 75 gallons in the tank, so I presume that these are cars that stay out all day. But either way, for Jamie Fluke and Tipani Lignolotto, we'll have to see here this duel. And then you've got David Baker and then Dawson Brock. So either way, looking at your movers and shakers, Jake, there have been quite a few.
There certainly have been. Tipani Lignolotto +1, Dawson Brock is +3. Same for David Barraclough in the 5.55 machine. You also see Stefan Schlacker +8, Marcus Niskanen +1. Talk about Frank Oosterhuis, though. He is a Dutchman +11. We talk about many Dutchmen who like to try and fly, Cam, but there's certainly one of them who is having a very, very good run of things.
Yes. And it's been a pretty dramatic day for Cordell Cologne as well. I mean, he's dropped the 11 positions. He's now got to hold on for dear life. I mean, he wants to make this, to try and do what he can to make this. I think he ended up maybe coming down the pits or something. Yeah, okay, so that's actually going to drop him almost straight out of contention. He knew that car was damaged, but either way, it's going to be interesting here. We'll probably should have maybe 4 to go, or not 4 to go, 6 to go when we get done with this.
6 laps to go, and not much longer left on the clock either. So they'll definitely have time to finish this event. It's now going to be about how they manage it. And of course, any incident inside the final 5 laps will bring out the caution flag. Any incident happening inside the final lap, we will go green all the way to the end of the event. Apex Racing UK, Jamie Fluke at the front. Tapani Linluoto, the championship leader, is in 2nd position overall, and you're seeing how drivers up and down this field all want to make their name, all want to show that they are very, very capable of getting themselves into that A main final. But the lights this time by Cam should come off of the top of the pace car, and on cue they do. We will have ourselves 6 laps to go when we cross.
Yeah, and that is going to mean that Jamie Fluke is, the Englishman is going to be inside, Tapani Linluoto on the outside. And, well, that's where you always start. You can't get a pick, so you're always on the inside.
No, not for where he is, but what country he's from. He's Northern Irish.
Oh, I'm sorry. It says UK and I, so the person from that area of the world is going to be next to the Finnish driver, so we'll see how it goes.
We certainly will. Fluke versus Linluoto. This reminds you so much of the battles UK and I had with Finland in the World Cup of iRacing. Of course, another tournament that Mike Ouliette has had a history with over the years. David Baker in 3rd, Dawson Brock 4th, and Eric Micker in position number 5. Pace car dives onto the lane, 6 to go in the first heat of Phoenix, and again another great jump for Jamie Fluke, who completely gets everybody out of contention, as now Linluoto in 2nd. You can see high to the high side goes Dawson Brock. He drops 2 positions because of it, but he wants to pick the run up off of the exit then. 5 to go when they next cross the line. Any incident from there on out will run into issues. Micker side by side with Baker for the podium.
Yeah, great start from Jamie Fluke, as he is going to have a gap over Linluoto. I don't think Linluoto can gas, but David Baker is trying very hard. Is Eric Mickey almost losing it on the lap there? Allows Dawson Brock to recover as they're making a break for it.
They certainly are making a break for it. Micker on the high side, and Dawson Brock gets washed out on the bottom, so he won't be able to make the move. Pereira versus Barraclough as well. This one going on a little lower down. You've got Niskanen versus Schlacker side by side into 3 and 4. Schlacker looks to go low, looks to search for Kurt Crum.
Yeah, and Hector Pereira, he wants to get involved on this one as well, as he's trying to close in. And then you got to look at that transfer spot back down in 13th position. It's Koyoshi Kelly and Cordell Cologne. Cologne, he's fighting for his life right now in that A main.
And he's got fresh tyres as well, so he'll be able to scythe the claw through the field. 3/10 means a lot more here than it would anywhere else. 3 to go when they cross the line. Jamie Fluke, Linluoto, David Baker. Can Baker respond with a little bit of a regroup? I think he certainly could do. Still side by side. It's now Frank Oosterhouse up and over. Cologne involved again. He's going to be turned around. We're going to finish under yellow here in the first heat. And Cordell Cologne for the 2nd time gets involved. More wrecking as he turns. And that was Frank Oosterhouse getting involved. He'd had a great run up to that point. Cam gets caught on the outside. Cologne pushing a little bit off of the apron. Nowhere to go for the pair of them. 2 into 1 does not go.
No, and the apron got clipped by Cordell Cologne, but the car was planted. It was Oosterhouse who lost the rear just enough, and they touched. And that sent Cologne into the wall there, and that sent them all flying across the start-finish line. So it is currently taken up under yellow flag, and Oosterhouse will be dropping down the many positions. And he was running basically 13th. He was in that fight as well. And so unfortunate for those drivers, but overall, we're going to have a finish here to the heat.
We certainly are going to have a finish to the heat, and the way that things are looking in terms of that, the 2 drivers who are guaranteed positions on the front row of the grid will be Jamie Fluke and Antti Palaja. Palaja will be in the 2nd split for this one, but Jamie Fluke guarantees himself on the front row, regardless of the result is what was said. So now the white flag will be waved in the air as we slow it down for the final lap. Unclassified, Jamie Fluke has won this one. We will wait to see when he gets over the line, but we had great action there, Cam. Nice green flag running, and also a nice little sprint finish as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think everything went really well for these guys. As the light's still on the pace car, Salva Lopez is going around. So we'll see what he wants. Oh, he was one of the lap down cars, but unfortunately, I ain't starting or anything like that. So, well, we'll see how this plays out. But it looks to me, Jamie Fluke will get it. Spani Lanola will get it. The front row, of course, already determined by qualifying. But overall, I think we got ourselves a pretty good-looking field, and these guys are going to have some good practice on their shoulders.
It was a very respectable drive from Jamie Fluke. He was at the front of the field. He has led all 50 laps of this one, including the ones with caution as well. It's been such an easy picking for the number 49 machine. Apex Racing UK to the front. Apex Racing UK will take the victory. Jamie Fluke wins the first heat as he crosses the line. Tapani Laloto finish second. David Baker in third with Eric Mika fourth. Dawson Brock will finish fifth with Hector Pereira, David Barraclough, Kurt Crum, Marcus Niskanen and Stephen Baxter making 10. The transfer spots go to Stefan Schlacker, Koyoshi Kelly and the hair flick Kip Stevens sneaks one in at the final stages of this one. We are very quickly going to step aside. Heat 2 is going to be on in just 2 minutes' time. If Heat 1 was anything to go by, then stay tuned because Heat 2 is just about to pull off. We got ourselves 2 laps, I do believe, before we're going to set ourselves heading towards green flag running. But we have ourselves a very, very anticipated second run for this one, but it's a 1 lap that we're going to have at the front of the field. Antti Pilaya with Fernando Antoli next to him. Got in third position Marco Pentinen, Utoika second in championship position. 4, third row James Merrills, Diego Jimenez there with Trevor Vavrovsky and Tim Claysons. Row 5 is Pete Harrod and Roy Cunningham waiting in the wings. A lot of people getting very nervous, anticipation levels at the height. And of course, for these 26, they know they've only got one option, and that option on RaceSpotTV, iRacing Live, is to keep on trucking. I am #DuMai Jake Sperry, the observer of sim racing. There's Cam Walsh, there is also Hugo Louis, there is also a pace car about to dive down onto the lane. It's behind Antti Pelaaja, who waits, goes, and a big check up there, but not able to get the jump the same way that Jamie Fluke was able to get the jump, as it's too wide. Into 1 and 2 they go. Penttinen gets the jump then on the driver that he wanted there, Fernando Antoli. Toika failed to make the start, so Teemu Toika will drop a multitude of positions. Will have to work then from the very, very back of this one. Too wide they go with Hormilia there, Claessens and Vavrovsky.
Yeah, a good start, and I think the reason why Jamie was getting such a good start, I think he was actually starting in first gear and then running the clutch and then shifting to second. I don't think anyone else was doing that, so good running from Antti Pelaaja as Marco Penttinen is running around there. Fernando Bequets is also there as Travis Henderson. The first name I can actually pronounce properly is also running, so we've got Grizzlies in multiple splits, and we'll see how these guys do. Action right now between Tim Claessens and Diego Hormilia for 6th position.
Diego Jimenez then wanting to make things happen. Big checkup from Treva Vavrovsky. That will allow easily Pete Harrod to come down to the inside. Caution flag flies on lap 3.
And that is a big incident on the front stretch. See what happens here. Unpack this one, as it looks to me like this might have been starting from the number 980 of Tristan Bodis.
Oh, it was, and Bodis was coming up. They were 3 wide off the exit. He was down on the apron a little bit. Nowhere to go, as Jared Morgan was on the outside. George Gruber there on the inside. Gruber ends up having to turn Tristan Bodis, and then it all goes horribly wrong, and flipping into the pit road went Bodis. That was a scary, scary incident, and I hope all the pit crew got out of the way as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, it's these tires are pretty bouncy. So either way, as they call out where the pace car is, Antti Pelaaja will collect it, and they're gonna set themselves up behind that Ford Mustang for the first time here today. Not like the first split where we ended up getting ourselves a really good green flag run. These guys bringing it out early.
They certainly are. Antti Pelaaja leads. It's Marco Penttinen in second, so Finland 1. Finland 2. Fernando Antoli, who did so well in the 2.4, the classic Daytona, he will be there in 3rd position. Travis Henderson, James Merrills, Tim Claessens, Diego Jimenez, and Pete Harrod make up your top 8. Tim Claessens is moving in the early stages though, Cam. 2 laps in, and he gains, what, 4 positions? That's pretty easy going, I would have thought.
Yeah, well, hey, you know, everyone's working their way through. Perhaps he starts in first gear and throws it through, but we'll have to see here just how these guys start again. It's interesting here how these drivers are all adapting to racing in such a highly specialized environment such as the Silver Crown machines when they're not familiar with it. I can honestly say, not necessarily an expert myself in these machines. Neither are you. Neither is Hugo. Hugo still flabbergasted these things exist, so we'll see how they go.
And let's not forget that this series is brought to you, or the events that we have today of the Copper Classic is brought to you by Lion Tamer Beard Care. Make sure that you check out those products. Make sure you get yourself a proper beard working and grooming for you. But it's not over for those drivers who've had that incident in the early goings, Cam. They have themselves the one fast repair, or as I like to call it, the T-car. The ability to get back out and going again when things start to go awry.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's one of those things where not necessarily the best. I don't think Jan Bruni is going to get past with the cautions, with the pitting and everything, but the lights are out of the pace track. They're going to get these guys all stacked up. At least they better get stacked up if they want to take the green, and they'll get themselves running once again.
Well, it seems that Jan Bruni will not be a little horse after everything that's happened. I think he's going to have to check up, because he came out of pit road and he realised he may have just taken 2 or 3 vehicles. He'll have to wait up behind quite a few, get to the back of the pack. Maybe is going to be his easiest option. So this is going to cause a little bit of confusion. He was too late that time by to get around the pace guy. He's now got to drop backwards into position. But once again, second take then, Antti Pelaaja. You've got to get yourself the good run again. It was a good hold the first time, but pace car onto the lane, 50 laps. It's now down to just 44. Early breakaway this time from Pelaaja, who's starting to learn as Penttinen looks to chase side by side. Fernando Antoli, Travis Henderson goes high side looking for the opportunity. Gets the opportunity on that high side, gets the power down, steals position number 3. Beautifully done.
Yeah, and Pelagia just threw that car into corners 1 and 2. The rear was stepping out on his number 37 machine. He is running a super loose setup. I'm actually a bit concerned if he's going to be able to pull this off. The car looked planted when Jamie Fluke was piloting it, and this one looks like it might be a rocket, but my goodness me, it's difficult to pilot as Marco Penttinen is catching up slowly.
Yeah, he certainly is. Any more footloose from Antti Pelaia, and he'll have to kick off his Sunday shoes at this rate. So Marco Penttinen looking to give on chase. Battles a little bit further down, though. We've got ourselves running pretty much single file throughout the field. Tony Hayes and Philip Roberts going at this one for P17. They've got to start thinking positions now. They've got to get up into Magic 13. That's the number that they're looking for. Atkinson versus Krajicek side by side.
Yeah, and these are two teammates right here, the 123 and the 84 machine. They're going side by side as they're working their way through. Trying to get themselves sorted kind of here in the back of the pack, and you want to just get yourself settled. I would wait for the first 10 laps to tick off before you really start trying to put on pressure. You got to remember, we're fighting for 13th position. Andreas Silsons is currently the one that's in that position. James Ewens is currently the one out.
Yes, he is, as Tim Clayson's down to the inside of the driver of Fernando Antoli. Antoli, the Spaniard, gets the power back down as he looks to try and make sure that he gets the run as Tristan Bottas starts to become lap traffic. This could interrupt the battle for position number 4. Clayson's looking to make the move, unable to get the run off of the exit. He will have to sit and wait. And the middle of that pack, you talk about Putekilis, Jimenez, you talk about Pete Harrod all in there. We know how easy things can happen if you have that scrap in the middle of the pack can. You've got to be so cautious about how you make that move and how you defend here at Phoenix.
Yeah, and it is sort of a decisive thing as Bequats goes to the inside as he's trying to really hold on that line. Travis Henderson is the one that's up ahead in the Grizzly machine. One of the boosted Motorsports cars is the one up front. And this is a much closer field, I would have to say. Somebody drives right on up the track. That is Tristan Bottas. He's going to lose 1 position. Should lose 2 to 3.
He is lap traffic.
Yeah. Oh, he is lap traffic indeed. Okay, yep, that's right. So he's trying to let these guys through, and that in itself is a pretty difficult thing to do.
It certainly is, especially to drop that speed after coming off with the pit. So Tristan Bottas doing a very good job of staying out of the way of those drivers then at the front of the field. As again, Clayson's goes deep, but this could open things up. Both of them looking almost a bit like creme caramel, I think, the way that they were wobbling about. So now back to the inside, tries Antoli. He's got to think better of it. Merrill's, who's dropped back a little bit, could have a chance to attack. Same for Tripa Vavrovsky. Harrod, no, leading a second train. You've got Putekilis there in a scrap. Roy Cunningham having a solid drive right now. Casper de Court and also Andres Silsans currently holding himself in lucky 13.
Yeah, and what's going on right now with this, I think the inside line we saw in the original was not necessarily strong up until about halfway through the race. That's when the rubber started getting laid down by these 1,600-pound machines. So we'll see perhaps that inside line coming up to snuff, and then these guys really starting to go. These guys are really using a lot of the racing track. They're trying to figure it out, see where they can find the grip, get themselves worked out. And I'm watching Fernando Bequats, and he is doing a fantastic job searching for the grip. He's going high, he's going low, but he's got Trevor Baborski on the inside.
Prever, get down to the inside, my son. Nope, not going to happen. So he's going to have to play the waiting game. Little bit of an attack onto the apron, not quite working out. So you're seeing here how Merrill's wants to make that push, sometimes can't make that push, as Vavrovsky looks to try and find another position at the front. Pelaia leads 4/10 of a second at lap 16 of the event. So that's what we're looking at side by side. Diego Jimenez was trying to get past Putekilis, as Putekilis has actually made his way through in corners 1 and 2. So Casper de Court now looks to get onto the attack. Roy Cunningham sitting and playing the waiting game, playing the Alain Prost role. I just want to qualify. Big wiggle coming out to the final corner there for the driver of Diego Jimenez. That's going to put them high side. Casper de Court looking, Casper de Court waiting, put the power on the exit, makes it happen. Easy as you like, you're not going to find it too much better than that one then from Casper de Court. Jimenez, Cunningham, side by side almost as they head through 3 and 4 on lap 17. That one not quite working out. Cunningham looking to get the run off of the exit. This one, a big scrap, little bit of contact, and holding it somehow is Diego Jimenez.
Very impressive how he was able to wrangle that machine straight. That was almost bad. We'll take a look at a replay here on RaceSpotTV. Diego Hormilia in that 14th position. He just gets a little bit of a nip. He gives it some counter steer. He doesn't do it too much, or he would have sent himself back up the track. Very good recovery.
Well, the question will be, how strong is that rear suspension? Because that could very easily have just bent the wheel, tweaked it a little bit. Side by side, further in front. Bottas is lap traffic still, so Puteklis and also Casper de Court are looking to go around the outside to make something happen. Still got that scrap, though, in the middle of the top 10 right now. Vavrosky, you see Tim Clayson's in there, Fernando Antoli certainly in there. They're trying to pull in Travis Henderson, this group, and they've not really lost any time on that last lap. There was a 26.225 from Henderson, 26.3 though from Clayson's. That is what cost them another 1/10 of a second. They're behind by what is at this stage 6/10 of a second overall.
I mean, it's been much closer this split, and it is impressive to me to see everybody running like this. These cars are not easy to drive. You can't just hop in them and drive them, especially when we've got an open setup like we do. Because we do have an open setup, and for me, it is impressive how these guys are not only wheeling these cars, but they're dealing these cars with each other in traffic. These are not skills that you could just come in saying multi-class racing and get used to it, or GT3 racing and get used to it. These guys are running a very good job. They're doing a very good job, and I think most importantly, Jake, they're being respectful.
They certainly are. Diego Jimenez battling for the final spot in the transfers. Down to the inside hard with Anders Silsans. He needs to find himself a bit of pace as he looks to attack the driver on the outside of him. That is Teemu Toika, who makes his way through. Toika, who didn't take to the start, who decides to try and play the brave man's game of trying to wait and make his way through the field. He's currently in the transfer, done very well to get himself there. I'm not sure he was confident enough to take the start, Cam, but I tell you what, you go into these races with a strategy and it starts to work. Look at Penttinen all of a sudden in within 3/10.
And Toika was running a 26.6, so perhaps he thought there was going to be a very large incident, which there was, but if he started in fourth position, probably would be fine. So either way, for whatever reason, maybe he had some sort of hardware issue he needed to sort out right quick. But for Antti Pelagia, I mean, he's running very good. You can just see how loose his machine is compared to the other car. See if you can figure out, Hugo, a way to really show just how Antti Pelagia is just throwing the car sideways. Actually, go to the car behind him. Go to Marco Penttinen, the number 65 machine, and watch, see how you can see his front wheels. We have a caution on the racetrack.
We do, and it's going to be back in the pack, I can imagine, and it is. Diego Jimenez was up on the roll bar as he was heading through turn number 2. So we'll get a look at that, and it was contact there into the rear of Anders Silsans. Silsans opening up the corner on the exit. Jimenez just got a little bit too close, I felt, Cam, and ended up spearing himself nowhere to go. And that for Diego Jimenez is a little bit of a breakdance.
Yeah, a little bit, but it sorted itself out, thankfully. And as such, his day is going to be almost surely done. Pace car is collected the field as we are just over halfway this lap.
Yeah, we certainly are halfway, so we'll get an idea of how things stand, as I believe David Crozier is going to be the driver who will be taking the lucky dog this time by. So this is how things look. Antti Pelagia leads this one then from Marco Penttinen in second. Travis Henderson is in third with Tim Clayson's fourth. Treva Vavrosky in fifth with Fernando Antoli sixth. Seventh currently is James Merrills with Pete Harrod in eighth overall. Yildiz Puteklis +9 at the moment here. And sorry, let me get that wrong. Position 9 +7 at this stage for the 666 with an Australian 6 in terms of position, rounding the top 10. Casper de Court, but crucially, it's the battle cam for the top 13 we keep looking at. Cunningham 11th, Toika 12th, Ewens 13. And ironically, it's Ewan's teammate of Gruber who is in position 14. Now there's a juicy little tidbit of a battle.
Yeah, and I think especially because we're going to be starting side by side, we've got one half of this race sorted out and done. We've got another half ready to go. These guys had some green flag running. The guys that were in the back came in. They got their cars sorted out and repaired, fixed, as you were. And the lights do go out on the pacing machine right now as we get ready to go green once again.
Certainly will.
Well, actually, no, lights stay on. I'm sorry.
No, they do. We've got a couple more laps, Cam. Don't get too far ahead of yourself there, buddy. But we've been seeing how Pelayo, I think, the more that this race has gone on, Cam, he's been struggling to keep his silver crown in a straight line. Do you feel that is maybe something with the setup, that Pelayo wants to feel the vehicle moving underneath him, but it's not necessarily the quickest way around this Phoenix circuit?
Yeah, well, it just seems to me like his rear steps out far more than anyone else that I've seen. Jamie Flukes was certainly much more planted, and you could see the front wheels kind of going into that corner as he rolls it. And then everyone else just looks planted. Everyone looks, you don't see that right rear stepping out. So whatever he's doing, he's got a hot foot in there, and he's really pedaling that machine.
Yeah, he certainly is pedaling, but it depends how many more gears he has left on that bicycle. So he's got to keep working. He's got to make sure that he gets himself over, and I'm not sure even the anthill mob can give him a hand in terms of getting a bit more manpower underneath that machine. But they line up side by side. Noah's Ark 2x2 will go green this time by. When we go green, we will have ourselves 22 laps to go at Phoenix International Raceway. And of course, this Copper Classic is brought to you by Lion Tamer Beard Care. Make sure you take care of your beard. Make sure you check out the products that they have available. So it comes down to who can keep his beard the most kempt at this stage, and especially when you've got a helmet on, it's very easy to get a little bit stressed and hot under the collar. So you certainly could feel yourself in a situation where things could very easily go awry. We've had 2 cautions here in this second round, or the second heat, sorry, shall we say. We only had 2 cautions in the opening heat. Pace car on the lane. Pelayo gets the jump once again. Green flag, green flag. Let's get ourselves going. Inertia 1-2. Pentonen then waiting in the wings, looking for it. A big wiggle there from Pelayo through the opening corner. And Clayson struggles. Up off the apron goes Vavrowski. And there's Antony trying to go to the outside.
Yeah, so a bit of a stack up around 6th position right now as here comes Busquets on the outside. Vavrowski is there, though. He's going to get the grouping. These tires are not going to be that hot, so that inside line, perhaps the safer of the two, I'd have to say, because you can kind of tease yourself with the throttle, kind of get the car's action going, whereas on the outside line, you got to kind of wait for that to heat up. You're really playing with danger there. They actually made contact, and Fernando, he recovers.
Great recovery from Busquets, but that's 2 positions lost. One to Zed Treva Vavrowski, the other to James Merrills, but again, he'll be on the outside as Putekilis and Harrod look to go too wide as well. Harrod looking with nowhere to go. This is going to allow Putekilis the chance to attack Merrills. This also allows Dimu Toiker in on it. No,
somebody's
big
upside
contact.
down.
And upside down, I believe that would be what? Tim Clayson, surely was
yes,
that?
It is.
Oh my goodness, that was huge. As the 2 involved there with Clayson's. I believe Andrew Whitehead was turned around as well. In all that was separate, but my word, Anderson. Tim Clayson's, that's a scary one.
Yeah, you see the replay right now. That contact, that was at no less than 100 mile an hour. Straight into that safer barrier, and then thrown right back onto the racing track, and then into the catch fence, and Jake. Catch fence does its job.
Catch fence did do its job. We got some safe fans after that one. So Tim Clayson's a very lucky lad. And he went to the inside. He broke a lot later than Travis Henderson in front. I think he almost outbroke himself because the moment he made contact, and this is just highlighting just how difficult this vehicle is, Cam, it was snap oversteer that was going to put the driver of Tim Clayson's back up into the wall. Give credit to Travis Henderson, though. He did so well to get that vehicle onto the infield as quickly as possible.
Yeah, absolutely, and a lot of guys got themselves out of the way, and I'd just like to give a proper props and shout out to Hugo for showing the safe crowd member who is right next to the machine on his phone. He wasn't even looking.
He wasn't even looking. He was that confident, Cam, that he was not going to get hit. That's just how confident he was in Travis Henderson. But this brings all change once again after we've had a couple of laps more of green flag running. We're under our 3rd caution here in the second heat. Antti Pelaaja currently holds the lead with Penton in second. Antti Pelaaja has led all 33 laps of this event so far today. Trevor Varoski up in third, Fernando Antoli in fourth, Julius Putekilis now up into fifth position from, get this, Cam, position 60.
Yeah, and I think it's Hugo is wondering why there is a yellow light in the roll bar. That is the rev limiter, I believe. Or you know what? That's when they're on caution. That whenever the caution is out, the guy will throw out a button. All the transmitters on the machines will let them know that they are under caution, because you got to remember, Hugo, these racing machines, you are strapped into that car. You saw just how much Tim Claeson's ended up going into the air and all that. So you got to remember, these guys are basically sitting with a drive shaft basically right under their rear. And these cars, they're not very... let me put it this way. The FIA would not be happy. They are safe machines, but the FIA would certainly want to make changes.
I'm pretty sure they would, and of course a big yellow light is a big reminder that they've got to caution, Cam, surely, instead of a small reminder from a radio man.
Yeah, certainly, and I think for me, with these cars in real life, I have not seen these machines in real life. I'm not a pavement pounder when it comes to oval racing. We've got Oswego here in upstate New York. That place is fun. I've only been there for one regular season race. It was the King of Wings, the Super Modifieds, which these cars are actually pretty close to Super Modifieds, to be completely honest. And as the lights will go out of the pace car, yay! It'll be interesting to see how these guys wrap themselves up for the next 15 laps to go?
Yep, somewhere around that. When we cross the line, it is 15 to go at the circuit of Phoenix. So we've seen how these tyres can get themselves a little bit worn. The more that you start stopping and starting and saving, it always makes your life a little bit difficult. The driver who is in position 13 right now is the 292. That's Andres Silsans. He holds the ticket at the moment. Stuart Atkinson and Diego Jimenez are still in the mix. Don't count out drivers like Martin Krejcik. Jared Morgan is always a very good wheeler when it comes to ovals as well. There are drivers out there who can make some progress. Same could be said for Travis Henderson. Remember, he didn't really have any damage coming out of it. He could make some charges through the field, but again, for the fourth time even, we'll start behind Antti Pelaaja, and let's get ourselves going. 15 to go at Phoenix here for the second heat, and it's not the best start then from Pelaaja. He will be challenged by Penton into 1 and 2, but not able to make things happen. They fall single file pretty much back to Casper de Court, going at it here with the likes of Pete Harrod. Harrod on the outside, trying to make it work.
Antti Pelaaja, he ended up getting away clean, and you can just see the action, the degree of attack, angle of attack, that's what I'm looking for, on his machine as he gets a good run off away from Marco Penton. And you got action, cars diving all the way down to the start-finish lines inside wall. As a couple of guys getting a little tripped up. One car seems to be having issues. Andreas Silsons, he gets tapped to the front, he gets tapped to the back, but he straightens himself up.
And he does a very good job. Stuart Atkinson then holds himself in the lucky position 13. He's holding himself in very good stead at the moment. Penton under pressure. Trevor Varoski trying to close that one down as he gets very tight to the outside wall. Almost a little bit of contact there. He had to really adjust himself before he got to one. Side by side as well, Merrills and de Court. De Court on the inside. Look at the run Merrills gets on the outside here as they pull along too wide. And look at Harrod trying to make it 3.
Yeah, and Casper de Court, he's running a strong defense on the inside line, and it almost looks like Harrod wants to sniff maybe the middle to go 3 wide, but that is not a wise maneuver, especially in these machines. The gap's there, but it closes up just before he could do anything about it. So Casper de Court, though, will just run that inside line, wait for it to warm up, but James Merrills, he's pulling ahead, so he might just be able to pull off. There he goes, closes it off, and now here comes Pete Harrod on the outside.
Pete Harrod wants to make the move on the outside. He runs out of road to make it happen, but Varoski is not running out of road. He's looking for it for position 2. Here's Penton on the inside. He'll have to give it up. So now Penton outside of position 2 for the first time in a very long while. As we win the next cost of the note, let's talk a little bit different. We got another caution out on circuit. One vehicle around. Guess who? Diego Jimenez.
That's Hermilia, as he is around and stopped on the inside. That was a self-done incident where he actually pulled a little bit of Tony Hawk Pro Skater, ground the pit wall a little bit. So Diego Hermelia has pulled out that caution, got the car, got himself sorted out. So there you go.
There we go. So now we're at 10 to go, but we're under our 4th caution here in this 50-lap event. So I think there's room for 1 more caution, Cam, but not 2 more.
No, if we don't have a green, white, checkered or anything like that. So depending on how many laps this takes, it could take 2, it could take 3 laps. We could see ourselves with 7 to go, and then once we get to like 4 to go, we should that should be it.
It certainly should be it. Antti Pelaaja has led all of this event, very similar to Jamie Fluke. But you have to argue he's had it a little bit more difficult because that mental resiliency to keep yourself going after caution, Cam. I will say this, the event that we had earlier on today, the international split of the majors, we had to go to time on that event instead of closing out all 200 laps. Do you think that here in this second split, we've had all this difficulty, we have been pushing as we have 20 minutes to go, there's no worries about time, but do you think that maybe these drivers have had a lot of pressure put on them in the sense that they've had to stop and start and keep on going?
It's tough because you want to make maneuvers, you want to make passes, you want to make positions, but you also want to finish the race. How do you gamble? And if you're trying to play it safe, but the guy behind you is really, really trying to wheel, really trying to deal and make a maneuver, what do? So you have to be offensive, defensive, everything. And the trouble spot right now is going to be that 13th position, Stuart Atkinson. That is going to be where the problems are going to come from because that is your transfer spot, Jake.
It certainly is. So Stuart Atkinson will have to be careful about Andres Silsans. Travis Henderson, let's not forget, was 20th on that run. He's brought himself up to position 15, so he will be the man on the move. Jared Morgan as well in 16th. David Crozier, let's not forget, was 1 lap down at one stage. He's only 4 positions off of putting himself in the luckiest position in the world, number 13. And well, there's a certain little bit of an omen if you can get yourself into that position 13 overall. Like still on the top of the pace car, it's Trevor Vavrosky now. Started 7th in this one, and this is what we haven't really seen from this event so far. Drivers who can come through the field to make positions, but we see the likes of Putekilis plus 11. You see the likes of George Gruber up 11. You see Stuart Atkinson plus 11. There have been overtakes today, and a lot of them can.
Yeah, and it's been good fighting, good maneuvering. I think we've seen some pretty clean racing, and we'll see how these guys restart and whether or not Pelaaja will be able to continue getting his way through here. And just talking with Jamie in the chat, he doesn't start in first. He dawdles with everything on second. So everyone else should be able to get themselves through as lights go out on the pace car.
Yep, on the pace car. We're not quite there with trucks yet. We're not that far away from that, I wouldn't have thought. But it's going to be about now. Antti Pelaaja looking to hold off. Very similar to the first heat. 6 to go when we cross the stripe. Penttinen will be waiting in 3rd, but Anteli waiting in 4th. Putekilis and Toika. Let's not forget Toika started this one from pit road, even though he's got a qualifying position of what is position number 6. You can see how Vavrosky wants to be up there, but he will have to back that one straight up because of Antti Pelaaja, and Pelaaja will just cause him to wait and wait, and the mind games start. 6 left at Phoenix. 6 miles left at Phoenix. Green flag, big jump from Antti Pelaaja. Already you are seeing to the inside an attempt from Marco Penttinen. Penttinen's going to get the jump the same way that Vavrosky wanted to just a couple of laps ago, but Vavrosky goes high side and looks to steal back second.
Yeah, Pelaya he's got his whole shot, so all he has to do is focus on getting these next 5 laps sorted out. Bobrovsky comfortable in second, Penttinen now in third, Bisquet's now in fourth, Toika in fifth as we are closing out that lap, and we're onward. Almost everybody running single file.
Everybody running single file, the battle for P13. James Ewens in 12th. You got Atkinson 13th. Still Sands was looking high to take the final transfer. Travis Henderson now looking to keep himself in play. He's down on the inside, looking to take that one away. He gets a bit of apron. He is fine. In front of that, though, Merrill's going at it with Casper de Court. They're going to hold it up. 4 to go when they cross the line. Anything from now, and we are ending under caution.
Yeah, and we almost had it there as Tony Hayes had a massive washout there, as there's some massive fighting out back right around Stuart Atkinson. This is where the trouble is. Travis Henderson, he wants to make the show, and so does Andreas Ilsons as they work their way to the inside. 24 on the inside.
And this is for the final transfer. He wants it, he wants it, he wants it, he needs it, he takes it up into P13 for Travis Henderson. What is exactly wanted at the front? Pelaya leads 0.3 of a second from Trevor Vorovsky. He's holding that gap, he's holding it stationary. Popsicle sticks though, Cam, next time. Merrills versus Harrod.
Great running, I have to say, from Pelaya and everyone else that is running up front. You got a good battle going on for P number 8. Between Merrills and Harrod, but right now everybody's stacking up here for this 13th position. Travis Henderson, he might actually get stuck a little bit as James Ewens becomes it, as we got 2 laps to go.
Oh, Ewens looks, this is for the final one there. Ewens had Atkinson looking, that's not going to work. There's a little bit of a tap, and Atkinson down to the apron. He holds it together, we stay green. White flag will come out this time by. We will go to the end then. Antti Pelaya holding the advantage, stretching the gap away from Trevor Vorovsky. Penttinen in position number 3. Busquets, Fernando Antoli, in 4th position. Teemu Toika, position number 5 for 13th still. The battle certainly not over in this one. Still Sands desperately trying to hold to Ewens. That's not going to help, but round 3, round 4, Antti Pelaya books his place perfectly into the A main. Antti Pelaya wins this one at Phoenix, and you look further back, position 13. Oh, we were getting a little bit shaky there, Mr. Ewens, but he holds on and gets himself through at the last drop of the hat. Great final 6 laps.
Yeah, we had a good run there. I'm pretty happy with that one. Everyone looks pretty good. They got themselves some pretty good experience running in traffic, and that is what you need to do in a heat race. You need to make sure, A, you get to the show, but B, and they're going to know what you're doing when you get there. So, pretty excited about this one, I have to say. Looks to me like we're going to have a fantastic 200-lapper coming up.
We certainly will. Classified results then are as follows. Antti Pelaya wins this one, half a second in the end over Trevor Vorovsky. Marco Penttinen finishes up in 3rd with Fernando Antoli in 4th. Teemu Toika from pit road to 5th. That's a great drive from Teemu Toika, with Uldis Putekelis finishing in 6th. Casper de Court finishes 7th ahead of James Merrills, with Pete Harrod in 9th ahead of George Gruber. Roy Cunningham onto the second page in 11th, with Travis Henderson making a great late recovery to get into the top 13. James Ewan is the last bastion of hope. He is the final driver who will get himself on the grid. And then those who missed out, Andres Silsans late in the day losing. Jared Morgan was there, but never thereabouts. Crozier battled from 1 lap down. Martin Krajcik will be very unhappy with his results. And drivers, of course, who failed to finish this one. 2 big names who are going to be missing out on big points here today, Cam. Diego Jimenez and Tim Claysons will be both of them. But what we will do, though, is we will bring in the winner of the first heat, and that is a Mr. Jamie Fluke from Apex Race UK. Mr. Fluke, how good was that opening race for you? You had some great first lap runnings. You got yourself up to a 4-second gap, and you never really felt that you were probably challenged.
I certainly was challenged by the car, for sure. It's not an easy thing to drive, so I certainly wasn't resting on my laurels, but yeah, the main focus was just to get some good running in. The 2 drivers who qualified first and second were automatically put through to A main, so yeah, I was just really pushing out there just to see what I could manage.
So trying to set the gauntlet then, I think, is what you were looking at. Of course, you didn't have to turn up and race this opening one. I don't think you did, but I think that when you look at what you've been trying to achieve and attack, and Apex have wanted to be this team that attacks in a lot of different areas and does very well. When you talk about diversity as well, I mean, we talk about the likes of BSRTC. Do you feel that Apex are surprisingly diverse to most outsiders?
I wouldn't say surprisingly diverse, because we've always dabbled in different series here and there, but I think this year we're taking a more concerted effort to make sure that we actually, do well in these events rather than sort of show up, because a lot of events that we've done in the past, it's kind of, we've just done it for fun, but I think now we're really starting to take everything a lot more seriously.
And especially when you look at this final that's coming up, you've had a chance to eye up the competition from this second split. You've seen the likes of Antipalaya have a very good run, Shiva Vavrovsky, and also the likes of, say, Timu Toika making good progress through the field. Do you feel that with 4 times the distance, that this race is going to be a completely different challenge for you?
Yeah, it'll be totally different. Even in terms of strategy, because we will have to take a pit stop regardless of cautions. So interesting to see, even in terms of fuel loads, what everyone sort of goes for when people decide to come in and pit. Whether what the sort of cutoff point is in terms of drop-offs, whether you want to make a stop now or not. It'll be really interesting to see how it goes. I'm certainly not expecting to be the absolute quickest out there, because I've not done a massive amount of full tank running, but we'll see how it goes.
You certainly will. So before we let you go, Mr. Fluke, of course, you did get a victory in the opening round. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out or a sponsor to for the boys back at Apex?
Yeah, so thanks to all the guys at Apex who keep me motivated on a daily basis to keep grinding out every series that we all do. Thanks to all of our sponsors, so JCL, SDK Gaming, Leo Botner, and St. Pewters. And a massive thanks as well to Mike Ouellette, who runs the series. It's a fantastic series to be a part of. One of the best organised leagues that I've certainly been in my time sim racing. So massive props to him and all his team around him.
No worries at all. Make sure you tell Alex Simpson I want naming rights on STK Gaming. So make sure we get that one sorted. Jamie Fluke then, joining us from Apex Racing UK. Fantastic work that we have seen from him in the opening round of action that we saw, of course, for the first heat of 2 that we've had today. But we're not over here on RaceSpotTV and on iRacing Live. Of course, I'm still hashtag Do You Mind Jake Sperry. That's still Cameron Walsh. You may be getting a drink or having a quick break here and there. That's still Hugo Louis behind the camera. But of course, what we are going to do for this moment is we're going to step aside very briefly. When we come back, we will have a main action. We will have ourselves the race for the points. The big challenge, the big push that everyone wants to be going for. Eyes on Lil Luoto. Will he be able to extend his championship lead? Or will there be certain drivers looking to peg him back? Copper Classic continues, of course, sponsored by Lion Tamer Beard Care.
Of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, will it be Tim Hogan? It's going to be Christopher DeMary at the line.
I grew up in Northern California. My parents were just really big race fans and took my sister and I to, sprint car races pretty much every Friday and Saturday night. So I did outlaw kart racing from 7 till I was 14. And then that's when I got into 360 and 410 wing sprint cars. There's just something about dirt racing that's just, you can't get anywhere else. I enjoy going back to race them whenever I can. I get to run, about 20 to 25 dirt races a year and try and, put on a show every time I'm there.
Battle for the lead. Kyle Larson to the inside of Shane Stewart. Slide job, no. Larson unable to complete the pass. He'll follow Shane Stewart down the back straightaway. Stewart makes the move to the inside of Craig Kinser. Kyle Larson goes around the outside out of turn 4. You've got a new race leader. Kyle Larson from 9th leads on lap number 23.
I'm probably just a little more relaxed, I guess, at the dirt track just because it's for fun, where the NASCAR stuff, it's points racing and a lot bigger sponsors and stuff you have to please and all that. You're there for 3 days a week, so your approach is a little bit different there, where sprint cars, you're there for 5 or 6 hours and moving on to the next racetrack. So I've been on iRacing, I think, since 2009 or 10. Yeah, I remember, starting out, as a rookie on there, in the Legends and the late models and stuff like that. And that was fun to, have to try and get your licenses up and stuff. But it's amazing to me how, now that I get to race on a lot of the tracks that are on there, how to the T, similar because of the laser scanning and stuff like that. So all the bumps and all the visual aspects of it are very good. So when I first got to like K&N and then the Nationwide Series at the time, I would race iRacing all the time to learn as much as I could about the racetrack before I went to the actual racetrack to race. So to me, it's just for fun now. So I enjoy going on there. Actually, I don't enjoy going on there all the time because I don't win a lot. So it's frustrating to see myself struggle to run top 10 in an Xfinity race or something like that and get beat by Logan Seavey every time I run a sprint car. So the level of competition on iRacing is better than real life. You've got thousands of drivers on there that, a lot of them are probably better than the people you see on TV. They just haven't had the opportunities to make it, but can kick butt on there and you can spend all day long running thousands of laps a day, so you can get yourself, really good at it. So competition level is just unbelievable, really, on there. Everybody's been asking for dirt on there for forever. So when they announced it, I got really, really excited. And honestly, it's blown my expectations away. The cars, to me, drive really good when the track's hooked up. The visual part of the racetrack changing is amazing. How you can run some laps and see it start to get shiny, and then you feel it getting slick. Areas of the racetrack getting dirty, and then you get some cars run through there and it cleans off and gets grip back. It's nuts. The tear-off feature is really cool. Watching the wing move backwards and forwards. I run with the virtual reality headset too, so being able to look down and see everything, it looks extremely realistic. So yeah, it blew my expectations away. And it's only going to get better, really.
This is Circuit de la Sarthe, known around the racing world simply as Le Mans. Since 1923, this track in western France has been home to the world's original 24-hour endurance race. Coupled with the likes of the legendary Indianapolis 500 and the Monaco Grand Prix, the 24 Hours of Le Mans is widely regarded as the world's most prestigious endurance race, and it forms a part of motorsport's Triple Crown. The first race was held on the outskirts of Le Mans back in 1906 and was called the French Grand Prix, the first Grand Prix of its kind. It was run on public roads, with one lap of the circuit stretching just over 103 kilometers. Then, In 1922, the secretary of the ACO, Georges Durand, was given 100,000 francs to facilitate and devise a new race for the region. Durand took this as an opportunity to stage something completely unheard of, a 24-hour endurance race that would push the modern race car to its limits, where manufacturers would prove their worth to the world. Durand's original Circuit de la Sarthe stretched 17.2 kilometers and was entirely comprised of public roads. It ventured into the city of Le Mans and stretched to a tight hairpin before venturing on to the 8-kilometer long Mulsanne Straight. In 1929, the hairpin was bypassed due to safety concerns with expanding town suburbs, and safety was always a thing that changed and progressed the racetrack over the years. In 1932, the track as we know began to take shape. That was prompted by the construction of a new 1.5 kilometer bypass running from the start-finish area to the new entrance of the Mulsanne Straight, the now infamous Tête Rouge corner. This section featured the fast first curve that remains today, and what would later become the location of the famous Dunlop Bridge. Now, back in 1923, it was a field of 33 drivers that competed in the inaugural event, and their average speed, 57 miles an hour. By 1956, the field had increased to 49 cars, and they were running at nearly twice the average speed, at 104 miles an hour. As the cars became quicker and the competition rose, the track continued to evolve. For example, in 1972, the final section of the track was completely reconfigured to bypass the dangerous Maison Blanche kink. This included the addition of the Porsche curves and the revised Ford chicanes to slow the cars on the run from Arnage corner to the start-finish line. These features remain today. One of the then traditional aspects of the race was the Le Mans start. Drivers would stand across to the track where the cars were parked, and then at the drop of the French tricolor, they ran to their car, climbed in, fired the engine, engaged first gear, and pulled away in a cloud of exhaust and burned rubber.
Main time. It's all now about how you manage longer laps, how you manage a race with fuel, with tyres, and with every little bit in between. It's about now how you get yourself moving forward. This is where the points come in. This is where you're going to get the most of your money, your bang for your buck on iRacing Live and RaceSpotTV. This, of course, is the European version of the majors. This, of course, is the Copper Classic. And with Cam Walsh just getting a visit from the Girl Scouts, it's the one way that we scare the Girl Scouts away. We are sponsored by Lion Tamer Beard Care. Make sure you tame your mane. Jake Sperry, hashtag Do You Mind, the Observer of Sim Racing, joined with Cam Walsh. And of course, Hugo Louise is in the production truck for this one. 10 seconds left in practice before we kick off a 200-lap epic 1 hour, 55 minutes put on the clock. It is a race against time to see if we can get ourselves there. We know in the international majors, it did not go to a full 200 laps. It had to go to time, but the field will be gridded up as follows. Jamie Fluke will be on the front row with Antti Palaya in second. Treva Vavrosky will start from third with Tapani Liluoto, the championship leader, in fourth. Marco Penttinen will start from fifth with David Baker sixth. The Daytona 500 winner Eric Mika will start seventh with Fernando Antoli in eighth. Timu Toika will make it 9 with Dawson Brock rounding 10. Lourdes Butekelis will start from 11th with Hector Pereira in 12th. Casper de Court from row 7, we'll have David Barraclough on the outside. Inside row 8, Kurt Crum and James Merrills on the outside with Marcus Niskanen and Pete Harrod, George Gruber and Stephen Baxter. Well, they had a ding-dong at Daytona. We'll see if it continues here at Phoenix. Row 11, Stefan Schlacker and Roy Cunningham, with Roy at row 12, Travis Henderson and Koyoshi Kelly. And the final row will be James Ewens and the hair flick himself, Kip Stevens, arguably one of the most interesting characters you will find in the world of sim racing, in the world of the Club UK and Ireland. He is certainly one of those characters. But Cam, this is the challenge now. It's 200 laps.
Yes, it is 200 laps, Jake. I thought there would be more to that statement, but yes. So as they get ready to rock and roll to take the green flag and start us in 200 laps around this circuit, Jamie Fluke will be trying to do his run of it as he gets ready to rock and or roll, as Andy Pelagia is on the outside, Trevor Vavorsky, and then Tapani Liniolotto. So as Jake sorts himself out, I guess that means we're going to be taking the green without him. So he'll hopefully come back soon, get his microphone all sorted, as we say here apparently in Long Island. So let's get ready to rock. Let's get ready to rumble. As Jake, you got this.
I'm here. I am here. Just had a little issue with the sound cable that I certainly have had, but pace car dives down onto lane. Jamie Fluke will hold the advantage then. He will look to get ourselves going. Green flag in the air, 200 laps. Let's get it going, and Jamie Fluke gets a fantastic start down to the inside. The battle for second, Antti Palaja looking to hold off that position there as he holds it. Very well done then. It seems all clean for the first goings.
Yeah, still side-by-side action between Bavorsky and Palaja, as here comes Liniolotto, perhaps on the outside. We got to remember here, we have got just as many cars as we did in the first couple of heats, so the track should do exactly what it had done before, but much longer race, much different idea of what you're going to be doing here, as we are just about complete lap number 2. Caution is out, Char's in the wall, 2 flipping in the air, it's Pagilius and DeCourt.
Oh, and that's a big one in from the middle of the pack. So Casper DeCourt, Graphite Racing was not going to have it the way that he wanted to. We'll have a look at that. It was already loose through turn number 1. It was just DeCourt coming back up the circuit. Big incident.
Yeah, Pereira actually helped him out with that one. Gave him a high five right on his rear bumper and said, all right, good luck. Best of luck to you. And then that bump really just threw the car out. He tried to recover it. It got straight, but then he just couldn't hold it. And a complete innocent victim is Casper DeCourt. You ride on board with him. As you can see, they go right into the catch fence already. As you go on board here with Casper DeCourt in the replay, when we get there, you can just see not much he could do there. He's driving. There's nothing he could really do. Complete innocent victim in that one, Jake.
Yeah, the innocent bystander then. That was Casper DeCourt. He will not be too pleased, and he will use his one fast repair surely in the opening 2 laps of this event. We're already under caution then for 200. We did about 100ths worth of the distance, so let's hope that we don't get 100 cautions, Cam.
I really hope not, because that would be, as we call in the dictionary, and Hugo may want to censor this, poo-poo.
Yes, in certain senses it would. We'd like to see green flag running on RaceSpotTV, and I think everyone else would love to see a little bit of green flag running. Jamie Fluke then holding it from Palaja, Vavroski in 3rd, Liniolotto in 4th, Eric Micker up 2 into 5th. So Eric Micker's had a really good start to this event, and we've seen the ups and downs already of how easily it can go wrong. Of course, we know how highly strong these vehicles can be, Cam. We know how easy a Silver Crown bites back.
Yes, and we know that these cars like to fly, also, once they get involved in an incident. So you can find yourself in trouble real quick, having not actually done anything wrong. Cars coming back across the track. So they're behind Jamie Fluke now for the first time, and you saw how good of a start Jamie Fluke had gotten. Well, it's just impressive how he is the only one to have really picked up on that, and perhaps Palaja, will be able to perhaps counter to retort to that. But as far as I'm concerned, Jamie Fluke has got the best starts he can.
Well, he certainly does, and Apex Racing UK are famed for having a very good start in a McLaren MP430, so I wouldn't take that as too much of a shock to see maybe a translation of some sort into that sort of area. Maybe a little bit of a help from some of the sponsors that they may have. But I think that in the middle of the pack, it's so easy to get caught up in incidents, Cam. How do you avoid the landmines here as we go too wide? Once again, looking to get ourselves starting up at lap number 6 of this event. I will ask you that question a little bit later on then on how you do avoid landmines around Phoenix International Raceway. But once again, we will be behind Jamie Fluke. Pace car. Eels off then into pit road. And Jamie Fluke looks to go instantly. There was a little check up there from Antti Pillai. He wasn't sure. Look at that. Vavrovsky down the middle wants to make it 3 wide into 1 for the first time. Fluke there was almost challenged. And look at that. Pillai goes straight around caution instant.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like anybody has received any damage, and it looks to me like Pelaya's machine is A-OK. Those are the important things. That means that Antti Pelaya, well, he's only going to have, Jake, and that means that he's really going to have to turn it up because he's only going to have 196 laps to get this thing brought back up to the front of the field.
Antti Pillai did so well to keep that vehicle up on the high side of the circuit. You know, this circuit does have its benefits, Cam, and one of them is the fact that the parabolic banking here is a lot lower than most circuits.
Yeah, and I mean, he's very lucky to not get himself involved or in an incident at all. But, though, the danger zone now is going to be that he now might get involved in an incident because he's so far back. But for Jamie Fluke, another good start from him there. Vavorsky, he's going to be the first run in Grizzly Eye. And then you've got Linuoloto, and then you've got Eric Mickey.
Yeah, we do, Eric Mickey. We've said it wrong for a little bit. Sometimes, you know, we do need a prompt to get it right. But car number 4 in position number 4. Could he be the first driver this season in the European Majors, Cam, to go back-to-back?
Well, I mean, it's certainly possible. These majors events are really not designed for back-to-back runners because every single event is so different from the event previous to it that you never know who's going to have the speed, so it would be very impressive if anyone could pull that off.
It certainly would be very impressive. So for Eric Mickey, he knows, could be on the cusp of a little bit of history this season. So ball is very much in your court, Mr. Mickey. It's now about looking at this field, and I was going to ask you this question before we went to green. How do you avoid the landmines here at Phoenix?
Good metal detector, heads up. I mean, it's not so much the landmines or anything like that. The problem, it's just that this machine is so, I don't want to say delicate, but it needs such a specific set of inputs in order to get yourself sorted and pushed and running through these corners. Mickey was talking in the chat before that he can only run 3 and 4 one line. He cannot run it any other line other than that, or the car's going to loop around on him. So you got to look to the delicacies of it, and you just try to sort yourself out and keep yourself away from any of those known danger areas. I mean, these cars have basically been running pretty solid and straight this whole time. It's just going to be a matter of dueling and seeing what they can do.
Well, it's very honest there from Eric Mickey. I think that's a sign of weakness that I think a few drivers, if they were keeping an eye on that chat, they would certainly be looking to try and exploit if they're not listening to this broadcast right now, or if their spotters are listening to this broadcast right now. You know, if Eric Mickey holds the circuit and only attacks 3 and 4 one way, well, you do your best that you possibly can to unsettle the favor when you get to the bread and butter stages of this event. We've had 2 cautions in a very short space of time here, Cam. How on earth do you think these drivers are going to be responding as we will go green next time by?
Yeah, and it's going to be, when does Jamie Fluke pull the trigger? Will we have another stack up? And the outside line seems to be holding himself really far away. That is really not good. You need to get your rims basically touching the starter, and that's the best way to do it. But he's giving him plenty of room. That's respectful.
It's certainly very respectful. We saw how the driver, Trevor Vavrovsky, was very aggressive off of the start, forcing Pelaya up high onto what is the unused, I think, the unrubbered part of the circuit on the extreme high side. That was what caused Pelaya a little bit of worry. So Trevor Vavrovsky's now got to do it from the front row. Attack Mr. Perfect Start, Jamie Fluke. We'll see if the luck of the Northern Irish will certainly give them a lot of help. Pace car lanes it for the third time. Restart. Get going, and a good start there from Jamie Fluke. He likes to go early. One driver got very, very slow off the start. That was Dawson Brock there in about 8th position as they head into turn number 1 and 2 once again. This time we are clean throughout the entirety of the field now, as up high goes Jamie Fluke to cover off the move. Battle for third though, Mickey. Hey Mickey, I found a tiny little auto.
Yeah, and Antti Pelaaja is working his way through this field. So we're going to definitely keep our eyes on that 37 machine when we can. He's trying to get around James Merrills, which he does easily, so expect him to be moving his way up the field.
Yeah, he wants to. Antti Pelaaja will look, caution out again, and there's contact, and that is James Merrills getting caught in that one. Koyoshi Kelly up on his roof, as well as James Ewan's getting caught up and involved 4-vehicle incident. And Koyoshi Kelly causes 3 cautions in the opening 12 laps, but I don't think that was his fault. They were 3 wide coming out of 3 and 4, turned to 2 wide, and the vehicle on the inside, Roy Cunningham, I believe that was, Cam, down to the inside. Not enough room there with Koyoshi Kelly trying to make that work.
He squeezed. I think he thought he had like the line, and he just since he was a little earlier on getting the car slower, that just started. And once he started going up, he started going up. And very lucky for the pilot of Pelaaja there, simply due to the fact that he saw the incident, he had time to react, so he went down. So didn't come close to him.
No, it didn't come close to him at all, so they keep it going, but 3 cautions inside of the opening 12 laps. That's never ideal, and this will just run the clock out more and more and more when it comes to the racing acumen that we have certainly had in terms of this one. We're going to very, very quickly step aside here from the Copper Classic. We'll be back with more after this. The Copper Classic here on the Euro Majors is brought to you by Lion Tamer Beard Care. Make sure that you tame your mane. We're 3 cautions in. We are 15 laps into this event. We've had 3 cautions in the opening 12, and that's not been ideal running. We've had 2 first lap cautions, and of course a second lap caution as well. It's not been perfect, but the timer will be ticking. The fuel will be saved. And for Jamie Fluke, as long as he can keep ticking off these laps, he won't mind being at the front of this field for long, as he knows that all he needs to do is get the whole shot through turn number 1. We're lined up 2 wide once again for the 4th start then of this event. Pace car will look to drop off onto the apron, and does. Jamie Fluke goes incredibly early for this one. Green flag flies, and that was a real shock. 3 wide for position 3 will go, as now that's Antley making the big power move down to the inside, looking to make that work, and that's Tapani Littleauto defending that one well. Mickey will lose the position, but can power move from the driver of Antley.
Yeah, good start there as Littleauto was able to defend it pretty strong. Eric Mickey, he's running now. Marco Pentinen, Timo Toika. Now, Toika, he ended up missing the race only by a few seconds. It was not by choice with that missed grid. So now that he's running up where he's supposed to be, now he can find himself in some action. So good running there so far. Everyone seems to be single file in the front 10.
They certainly seem to, and that's going to be crucial because we're going to go longer than we have ever gone in this Copper Classic. So Barraclough versus, I believe that is George Gruber. Gruber will hold position. They get it single file, but not towards the front. Little Luoto on the outside of Fernando Antoli, and Little Luoto holds position for position number 3 as Antoli looks to play the aggressor right now here, Cam, to the inside again, looking at 3 and 4, and you can see how he wants to just attack on the exit and does so very, very nicely.
Yeah, and I think these cars they're going to start getting themselves hooked up. They're going to try to get themselves sorted, and the heat in the track. I got to remember it's 74 degrees Fahrenheit, and the air 82 degrees on the track surface. Of course, we're here in Arizona, which is normally much hotter than this, but hey. Either way, it's good to see these battles going on. Stefan Schlacker, that 117 machine, he is fighting to the inside of Kurt Krum for position number 12, and this is kind of where the bunch of cars are.
It certainly is. You've got Schlacker in there, you've got David Baker in there, George Gruber's looking at some place, Travis Henderson looking to make positions. Remember, Henderson just got a very lucky break to even be in this A-main, so we've seen a lot of issues around him. He'll want to make some positions forward, but Schlacker versus Krum. Krum doing a very good job, and Baxter to the inside of Hector Pereira as the middle of the pack continues to shuffle and scrap it out.
And it looks to me like people are just getting themselves sorted out. Hector Pereira, he's fighting that outside line, same as David Barraclough gets a little loose, but same as George Gruber, as the mostly blue and yellow cars that are all different sponsors, I believe, different teams, are working their way through right now. The Avatar Auto Racing machine of Roy Cunningham's working. That's, of course, your Canadian, as he's trying to get by David Barraclough on the outside, but he's just not going to seem to be able to have the run yet, I think. Give it perhaps another 10, 15 laps, we might start seeing some more on-track action.
The battle for P2, hotting up to Pioneer Luoto on the rear. Trevor Vavroski. Vavroski's falling away from Jamie Fluke a little bit. That's not ideal. Fluke has now built the gap from what was 7/10 to now 9/10 of a second. Little Luoto washes high. Busquets, or Fernando Antoli, sorry, down to the inside, but you can see the run off the exit. That's much more preferred from Little Luoto, that line through 1 and 2. And again, you're seeing Antoli searching for the low side, looking to try and make that work. Everyone trying to run that middle groove though, Cam. That seems to be the one that works in the early goings.
That's where people are comfortable, it's where you can easily defend, and it's where the car is probably the most comfortable as far as the setup is concerned. As here comes Fernando Busquets, he's trying to run the inside line. That Obsidian machine does move to the inside of Tabani Linuoloto. Will they be able to get it going in through corners number 3 and 4? We will see. It does look like, in fact, Fernando will get the plus, as Tabani Linuoloto will get on the throttles there earlier. Not much he can do, though, as they're still fighting a little bit further back. Marcus Niskanen is perhaps looking to the inside of Dawson Brown.
And there is also Timu Toika just in front. So you got Bush Finks, you got Grizzlies, and you got Marcus Niskanen waiting in the wings as well. In front of that, though, Eric Mickey loses the position as he again has to run that middle line. It's the only line he likes to run, with Marco Penttinen going down to the inside, easily making mincemeat of that position, that move. As Baxter, though, under pressure. Travis Henderson looking to try and make his way through in through 1 and 2, but Travis Henderson unable to make that work. He'll get a nice run off of the exit, then pick up the run here at 250 kilometers an hour, about 160 miles an hour he'll be looking for as he again hits the brakes into the left-hander, and well, they're all left-handers, of course. Well done, British Jake. And you're seeing again, Cam, right now that Travis Henderson is working the outside now, trying to set the run up perfectly on Baxter, as in front of them we got ourselves Brock going around the outside of Toika.
Yeah, a little bit of damage on Baxter's machine as well, not really helping him through the corners. But you do have to remember there is, in fact, a road course layout here at Phoenix International Raceway. These cars would not be able to run it as Travis Henderson gets loose. Stephen Baxter had to back on out, and they were both all right. They had a little tippy-tappy toes on the throttle and brake inputs, but they got themselves sorted out. But an interesting thing to think of, Jake, you remember, Group C machines, correct? The big Le Mans behemoths?
Yes, I do.
Well, their cousins, the Group C behemoths that didn't, or the GTP machines that didn't have any of the limitations that Group C did.
Yeah.
They ran a race here at Phoenix International Raceway on the road course.
Oh, that would have been ferocious. to have watched. Liluoto,
Under
though,
the lights,
still
I think, too.
Yeah, Liluoto very much unable to get past Fernando Anthony, who goes back onto the offensive with Trevor Varosky. The battle for second as Jamie Fluke has instantly got away and has put a lap traffic vehicle, Kuroshi Kelly, in between. But Anthony down on the inside, gets the apron, moves up on the circuit, but they move side by side for now. Anthony gets lucky, so does Varosky. Varosky's race could have ended very quickly. Again, Varosky onto the high side. Anthony loving that inside line, but again washing out off of the inside line and pretty much running it almost, you could say, maybe like a circuit like Darlington, Cam, in that sort of sense.
Well, he's trying to egg the corner. He's trying to go high, low, high, but he really can't because Vavorsky is there. If he was able to get clear of Vavorsky, he should, in theory, be able to get himself through. So as Fernando Bisquets gets himself through, see, this is what I mean. The weight carries him to the high side, but this is the problem. Trevor Vavorsky, he had the run on the outside. That now becomes the inside. Now, will Bisquets be able to get that as they actually make a little bit of contact, and Fernando once again is able to save the machine as he almost loses it right in front of Tapani Lanioloto.
Well, he holds it, and I think he can hear the drums. Fernando is a famous Swedish song that we once heard, so I think Fernando Antoli keeps himself there. Liluoto does well. Of course, you've got Penttinen and Mickey all in that little train looking to get things going. We've also got a little bit of side-by-side now. Teemu Toika looking to attack Stefan Schlacker in the 117 machine down to the inside, looking to make the inside work, one of the few who can, and I think Teemu Toika's giving this one a really good go.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm pretty happy with how things have developed so far in this run of it, as he just looks a little inside, has to get away from it, a little bit of air off his front nose, which means that that Travis Henderson's going to be able to get the position on Kurt Crum, who had to back out of it in order to keep himself out of the rear of Teemu Toika. But meanwhile, I got to point out Antti Palaya. That is your car who started in second, currently running in 21st position, hanging off the rear end of Pete Herod and Yildiz Putiklis as they work themselves through. He is quite a ways off of your leader, and it is going to be some, 11.5 seconds, which is a lot when you're looking at 26-second lap.
Well, Jamie Fluke is running away with this one. He's pulled the gap up to 2.7 seconds. Most of that was down to the battle between Varosky and Antoli. Antoli back up into position number 3 as things stands, as the top 5 remains as follows: Fluke, Varosky, Antoli, Penttinen and Mickey. That is what we have, with Tapani Liluoto now shuffled back into position number 6. So that's what we're looking at, that's what we're seeing. Dawson Brock in a scrap with Niskanen goes high, but will look to pick the runner off of the exit. 2 wheels on the apron there from Marcus Niskanen. They're very nervy, I think we could say, from that sort of area. Roy Cunningham as well in a scrap. He'll go to the inside of Stephen Baxter in the Booze Ted machine, and Booze Ted is going to be safe for now, so he'll look to get to third base. He'll look to try and hold off the driver of Roy Cunningham, but Cunningham again on the inside, just in front of that. Henderson going at it now. This time you are seeing Teemu Toika become the man under pressure and gets the position. Very, very lovely, Cam.
Fernando was able to get the position over Penttinen, and he is now closing on Trevor Vavorsky, so recovering is Fernando, and he is trying as best as he can. I think he's perhaps one of the fast guys right now. He ran a lap time that was just 0.5 of 1 second off of Jamie Fluke. He's running very fast. It was a 26.247 versus a 26.350 that last time by, so good lap times up front, but here comes some lap traffic for Jamie Fluke.
Yeah, lap traffic certainly coming into play. He's around Casper de Court. He'll be very happy that he is. Vavroski once again under pressure. Antoli goes long into the corner, and you can see how Vavroski tries to pick that up, but Antoli was so much more confident than Trevor Vavroski. Antoli made that one look as if he was standing at the stoplights. Oh my, wow, what a move we saw there from Fernando Antoli. That makes him position number 2 as the racing acumen continues at Phoenix here in the Copper Classic. Pete Harrod under pressure. Antti Palaya on the recovery. This is for position 20. He goes to the inside, just about gets enough room there to Pete Harrod, and Harrod then will lose out in comparison, looking to pick the run up off the exit, but Palaya with that very loose vehicle, always having a little bit of a wiggle here and there. Keeps himself in position. Yordis Putekilis will be the next vehicle he wants to attack. Kurt Krum now, the next to attack. Teemu Toika down on the inside, looking for that one to work. Doesn't quite happen. In front of that, Stefan Schlacker in this battle with Dawson Brock. Brock looking to help his teammate out there, Travis Henderson. Henderson could give Brock the push to go down to the inside, and just in front of that is, of course, the lap traffic. I do believe a Koyoshi Kelly that they will have to deal with. A lot going on here, a lot needed to try and make those positions again. Schlacker down to the inside. Again, Schlacker looking to pick up that run. Unable to make that happen. Dawson Brock will finally, I think, get the overlap, and into the wall goes the driver of Travis Henderson. Henderson holds off and continues, but how easily could that one have ended? In a little bit of travesty. Well, not right now for Travis Henderson. Henderson again to the inside, looking for the opportunity. Now they go 3 wide with the traffic. Careful, careful, careful. Oh, there's contact. They hold it together. No, they don't. Kelly into the back of the second pack. And that's going to be Kurt Krum caught out. That's going to be Teemu Toika caught out. That is going to be a caution. Wow. Caution 4. So our first lot of green flag running. Cam, you caught the back end of that one. I'm not sure you caught that one live, but oh my word, Koyoshi Kelly. That all started from Koyoshi Kelly getting caught up in an instant earlier, up 3 wide. Kelly ending up trying to hold it, but unable to keep it in play.
That is correct. Stefan Schlacker was there. Kind of ran to the inside. Everyone got a little packed up there as they were trying to get their way through. Schlacker just nipped him a little bit, but once he started bouncing off the that wall there, he kind of came down and he tried to hold the car as well as he can. Actually, he didn't snap the wall, and once that car snapped out on him, nothing he could really do.
Well, you saw the vehicle snap. He got contact as well. He was trying everything to get out of the way. I think he wanted to go high in the end, and Kelly was always migrating down the circuit. I think in that situation, the vehicle was always out of control, even up to the point of contact with Teemu Toika. It does mean that we have ourselves the 4th caution of the day, and look at this. Everybody, or what we could say half the field, diving down in. Jamie Fluke is in on the lane. He will be one of the first to hit his box right at the very end. It gives the lead for now to Marco Penttinen. Well, that's what we're seeing at the moment. Marco Penttinen is staying out, so is Stefan Schlacker, who was involved in that incident. Roy Cunningham, Antti Pelaaja stays out, and Pete Harrod stays out. Those are drivers looking to take the gamble. They're taking fuel now at this stage to try and make sure they get themselves going. Probably tyres as well, I would have thought. So Niskanen looking to get himself going, but out off of the lane first. Are there any surprises? No, there's not, because Jamie Fluke and Trevor Vavrovsky are out there and have got out there very, very well. So split strategy right now, Cam, with a mouthful of pizza.
Yep.
All that needs to be said. You got a mouthful of pizza. I will let you continue. I will have to wait until the broadcast is ended because I'm leading and you're in colour. So right now, we're about heading to a quarter's distance. This is what we were looking at in terms of a run when we had the opening section of the racing. We had ourselves 50 laps to try and make things happen, but very crucially, we have an hour 55 on the clock. We've had 4 cautions then in the opening stages of this one. And Cam, it is worth saying this right now. Yes, we've had 4 cautions. We are running very marginal with the time at this stage.
It's going to be interesting. 1 hour and 55 minutes. We've only ran 50 laps almost.
In half an hour.
Yeah, in half an hour. So we'll have to see. These guys are going to need a good long green flag run. Otherwise, they're going to be having some issues later on down the road. The strategy shouldn't change or anything like that because of it. Did notice a lot of people did get their tires, so people should have fresh tires. We'll see how it goes.
Certainly will. So the drivers who could be falling back are the likes of these: Penttinen, Schlacker, Cunningham, Pelaaja, Pete Harrod. So those are the leading 6. Jamie Fluke is the leader of those who have not come in. So sorry, leading 5, Jamie Fluke in 6th position. Jamie Fluke will look to try and make light work of the drivers down on the inside, with Wawrowski there in second position, net on the road. Antoli, Liluoto, Brock, Niskanen, Baxter, and you also see there David Baker, who's had a very quiet event so far. But the pace for the first time tonight will be behind Marco Penttinen, looking to try and prove himself, who has been pretty much there, taking the gamble, I think, at this stage to stay out when every one of his rivals around him came down in and made the early stop then on lap 47. I'm not sure that they'll be safe to the end, but if they're going to continue having runs like these, then who knows? We may be heading straight to the finish with this one. Pace car dives in, Marco Penttinen, they stack behind, green flag, let's get it going, and a very slow start from Jamie Fluke of all people. That was not the one that we were expecting him to have, as Wawrowski makes the position up from the top 5. It seems that Penttinen has done a very good job at things. Big wiggle from Schlacker allows Roy Cunningham maybe a look of opportunity.
Yeah, Penttinen has gotten himself away as Schlacker, who was involved in that incident around with that lap vehicle, and Roy Cunningham there working themselves through right now. As Jamie Fluke, he was the first one out of the pits. Actually, Wawrowski was, and he had made the pass on him. But I think for Fluke, he did not want to run over the car in front of him, so he did not. He took a very conservative approach to it as Wawrowski goes to the inside of Herod.
And this is where we're starting to see it. Pete Harrod now becomes a man under pressure, as now again on the inside, Fluke's going to follow in suit as he looks to get past Pete Harrod. How many times in the BSRTC days have we seen Harrod and Fluke have a scrap? Now they're going to scrap it out into the Copper Classic, into the left hand, and they come along again, and no opportunities really for Pete Harrod. He will be freight traded. Now Antti Pelaaja becomes the man under pressure from Trevor Wawrowski. Side by side, caution house again, caution 5 of the day, and that's going to be Kurt Krum around for the second time in this event. Big one in front of him though was all stacking up.
Yeah, James Merrill's lost the machine and hit James Ewens, and that involved Kip Stevens as well, and yep, just those guys. So there's so it's Kurt Krum, a couple of other cars got scrapped up in it, but other than that, everything got sorted out.
James Merrills and James Ewens get involved, and then Kurt Krum, nowhere to go in avoidance, has a nice spin down onto the infield. Big moment then. So positions were gained. Those who didn't come down in for the first time, Cam, on that last run that they had, that big long run, do you think now it would make sense to come down onto the lane and get fresher tyres, even though you'd only get maybe a couple of laps worth?
Nah, I'd run it. I'd run basically. I'd run until the tank's dry, then just get tires and run to the end of it. I mean, at this point, it's going to be easy enough to predict that there's going to be a caution in the next 10 to 15 to 20, 25 laps, so that I would just run it.
It's not a guarantee. Our longest green flag running has been 30 laps or so, so we have seen more yellows than we would have liked here. We're on yellow number 5 of the day, as it's now going to be the case that I believe nobody has come down onto the lane yet. In fact, we've got a couple of takers. Gasper de Court certainly going to be one of them. James Ewens the other. So just a couple of takers as they get themselves on the lane. But, you know, sometimes this is a game of mental resiliency, Cam. Not just for you, but for all the drivers as well.
Yeah, I mean, we had good heats, and then we got here, and these have been kind of not nonsense incidents per se, but they have been incidents nonetheless. We are going to see here as Marco Penttinen is going to be leading the start for the second time now. Where will Fluke be able to go? Will he be able to get one of his patented good starts that he was used to getting? We'll have to find out. I mean, but at this point, things are just starting to turn into a very, very slow drag.
But it's starting to be that little bit of a drag, but I think that these drivers understand that they have a responsibility to try and race cleanly. They want to, they need to, and I don't think they can really afford to, knowing how difficult this championship can be, especially if you're going to keep racking up incidents on incidents. Let's not forget here today, Cam, this may be an oval race, but 26 incident points, they can come along a lot quicker than many people would give credit for.
Yeah, a couple of boots to the back that doesn't do any damage to the cars is still constituted. And so it just it's going to be one of those tricky situations, and gotta remember, people keep hitting that outside wall as well, so giving themselves that 2x. So we'll have to see how that goes further on, especially with a race this long.
Yep, that certainly should seem to be the case on the pace car. The lights are still on for the time being. I'll give you... I wish I could use this fact because Koyoshi Kelly is now pretty much out of this event and gone. He was at one stage the only man to have a what I would call an actual spotter with him. He had a certain Aussie NZ person called Jake Fox with him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, having a spotter is certainly helpful, but of course, one of the things that you always remember is to leave the in-game spotter in there and then just communicate with your driver that way.
Yep, certainly seems to be the case as Koyoshi Kelly, 15 laps down, is out. There are two drivers currently multiple laps down. James Merrills is down on the lane. Kip Stevens is out circulating the track, albeit he will be the 1-2 laps down. Pace, once again, will be behind the inertia sim racing machine of Marco Penttinen. The Blue Fox will be looking to try and make a push forward. Let's not forget the fact that Inertia Sim Racing has some very nice plushies that they may be looking to try and get people to buy. So Inertia Sim Racing, it'll be an attack of the Blue Fox. Antti Palaya in 4th position will look to make some positions. Roy Cunningham, Stefan Schlacker there. Don't count out, though, Trevor Vorosky. He'll be the man on the move. Pace car is in. Wait, there's the late lunge as they go. Finally, there from Marco Penttinen. Side-by-side, Schlacker then comes with Cunningham into 1 and 2 once again. High side for Jamie Fluke as well against Trevor Vorosky. This one, the battle of those who have already taken tyres. And Fluke on the outside looking to make it work for him. I think it's just about able to manage it here, Cam.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to have a good run right there, but he's got Antti Palaya right in front of him there. That is the 37 machine that we saw having trouble earlier on when he got spun. He's picked up damage since then on his front bumper, that 37. So we'll see how about he does, but he's got Jamie Fluke on his inside, and Vorosky wants to follow.
Yeah, he certainly does. And now you're starting to see also behind that, Fernando Antoli wants to get involved. To the inside goes Jamie Fluke on Antti Palaya and leaves them standing at the crossroads. And you can see there just how Jamie Fluke was able to work that inside with the fresher rubber and hold that position as up high goes the driver of Vorosky, almost into the side there, into the rear even of Antti Palaya. He gets the position, but that was very, very forceful.
It was close. It was a fairly close shave, and I'm happy that they didn't make contact. That would have been bad right in front of everybody, as we still got some good 2x2 running a little bit further in the back, but for the most part, everyone's running single file line. I think everyone wants to get themselves sorted.
Side-by-side for the lead, Schlacker versus Penttinen, looking for the chance, not going to happen just yet. So we've seen a few people get a little bit careful, a little bit up there, a lot of close shaves, and let's not forget here that there are a lot of close shaves when you got yourself a sponsor of Lion Tamer Beard Care. That certainly seems to be the case. Fluke now up into 3rd is chasing down the leading two. Schlacker and Penttinen now. Schlacker again to the inside.
He might have it this time. He actually has to disengage, and he cracks up the track, but he's all right. They sort themselves out, so it's Marco Penttinen and the driver of Stefan Schlacker. Schlacker almost having that race-ending incident with a lapped car some 25 laps ago, and now Penttinen is currently your race leader, and he is not pulling away from anybody.
No, he's not. Jamie Fluke is hounding them. The top 3 split by 0.3 of a second into 1 and 2 again. And you can see there's a lot of wiggling from Schlacker. He's not comfortable there with Jamie Fluke behind. He'll be looking to go to the inside at some stage. Will he get the chance this lap? The answer is he looks low, but the block is thrown. So no chance there for Jamie Fluke to really pick up that power. Behind that, though, Roy Cunningham, Fernando Antoli, Antti Palaya. This is a true breakaway. They're stuck behind Cunningham. Cunningham seems to be a hard cookie to crack.
Yeah, and that battle for the lead is still somewhat ongoing, and because of it, Jamie Fluke is able to pull up as well as Trevor Vorosky. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you've got about a 2-second gap between them to Roy Cunningham and the rest of the field. So you got a 4-car breakaway, and then you've got the rest of the stable. as it looks to me like Dawson Brocky's going to be able to get to the inside of Antti Pelaaja as he will get that 83 machine up +1 position. Tapani Linuoloto, though, Jake, he seems to be having some struggles here in this section of the race.
Yeah, he certainly does. It seems that his mid-race pace isn't quite there as he looks to try and get through on Pete Harrod. That one not working. To the front, too wide we go as Penttinen and Schlacker go at it, blocking Jamie Fluke, Trevor Vavrovsky of having any opportunities of making this move down on the inside into 1 and 2. So Fluke's playing the waiting game. If you're Vavrovsky now, this is where you take advantage of this. I need to get past Jamie Fluke. He can beat me over the course of a run. I've got to get to the inside as Schlacker now, again, running up to the middle of the track. Fluke unable to really attack this one, make it too wide.
Yeah, and it just looks to me like Schlacker is going to be able to get that position in his 117 machine. As it looks like Jamie Fluke almost wants to try to take it 3 wide, but there's not going to be any room as he is able to squeeze the position away up from Marco. So put the car, the 117, to Stefan Schlacker into your overall lead right now. Trevor Vavrovsky is currently the one on the outside of the position for third, and Jamie Fluke is currently fighting the inside, and actually Vavrovsky hits the wall.
Well, he gets away with that one, but he will lose out in that battle as they start spreading out a little bit as Roy Cunningham picks up the pace a little bit. Side by side, Niskanen versus Mickey. Mickey is down on the inside, not where he wants to be. He doesn't like this line into 3 and 4 cam right now. And Eric Mickey is going to be running that middle line. Doesn't like being on the bottom. Tracking up middle, keeps it on the bottom. That's good work there from Mickey. No, he hits the apron.
Well, the car lost the rear, and there you go. So here comes Stefan Baxter.
Whoa.
The rear got lost.
No, there's contact. Fluke's going to get turned. There's going to be a caution. Surely there is.
Jamie Fluke not happy with that one at all. I can only imagine. But hey, you try to race.
Well, Jamie Fluke was going for the inside at turn number 1. It was pretty much the driver of Penttinen made it through. Schlacker was there getting a perfect run out, gets himself down to the inside. Then it's about how Jamie Fluke looks to attack, because he saw going up high with Schlacker. He took the advantage to the inside. He checked up. They all checked up together. Schlacker came into the driver, I believe, a little bit, or if there was, for the driver of Marco Penttinen, not much he could do. Penttinen tried to hold it. It was a domino effect, and Jamie Fluke, innocent bystander.
Yeah, Wheeler knocked him into Gant, and Gant spun out. So I don't know if that's going to go over very well in the European split, but for everyone else, that is a Days of Daytona, or Days of Thunder reference. But either way, here comes Stefan Schlacker, the rest of the front runners who did not coming in and getting their tires and their fuel.
Well, that's needed here on lap 67 of the event, so they're in. They have to make the stop, so they will come in right now on 67. Look to make that also in. Fernando Antoli deciding to come in for a second time. Maybe a bit of damage. DeCourt's in. Jamie Fluke is also in, looking to get an advantage. And Jamie Fluke, I think maybe... I think he's okay. Compared to Gaspar DeCourt, I definitely think that Jamie Fluke's okay. Fluke's got the longest box, though, out of all of them to hit. It goes right the way halfway through 1.
Yeah, and it is tricky to hit, and you got to get yourself sorted out, but you know what? You get to get right away as Stefan Schlacker. He has pulled away. Jamie Fluke, will he be able to get out in time? No, Roy Cunningham gets away. Fernando Buquets gets away. Marco Penttinen gets away, and here comes Jamie Fluke. So Fluke, just like Pelaaja had needed to do earlier, is going to have to work his way through the field, and he's only got 118 laps to do, 112.
Yeah, he's got quite a few laps to go. It's a 200-lap race, so they're on lap 68 right now. They've got 132 left to go in this event as they cross the line. It's Grizzly Motorsport 1, Grizzly Motorsport 2, Grizzly Motorsport 4. Trevor Vavrovsky leads this one, then Dawson Brock in second. Tapani Linuoloto, for all of the issues that he's had, he's still in third. Travis Henderson fourth. Antti Pelaaja up to fifth, though, Cam.
Yeah, and I think that's because he took he stayed out and he hasn't come into the pits yet, so he did not come in with the pits. So I believe Pelaaja does not have the fuel to the finish, if I'm honest, which means, at least to me, that he's going to have to come in when we do get a caution in the future, which, at the way things are going right now, Jake, does not seem like that would be too out of the ordinary.
No, it doesn't, but I think he's gambling on another caution. I think he only wants to come in once. I think he wants to play the game where he can come in and he can understand when he needs to come in. I think the worst thing that Pelayo could have is a green flag stop.
Yeah, nobody wants a green flag stop, especially on a short track. So I think no matter what, they'll run it as best as they can. I don't think they'll have to expect it as the lights go out on the pace car. We got to see now. We're going to have our third starter here, Trevor Favorsky. How will that driver do? The Northwest Club driver is going to have the entire field at the beck and call of his right foot.
He certainly will. This is caution number 6 that we have seen at the Phoenix International Raceway in the Copper Classic here for what has been the Euro Majors on iRacing Live and RaceSpotTV. It's been a patience game. 6 cautions in 70 laps. It does happen from time to time, but this one for Trevor Favorsky is going to be about how he manages it from here. He rounds 3 and 4. He's got help from his teammates. They can try and box out Tapani Liluoto if they want. Play bullying tactics the same way they wanted to at the circuit of Daytona just a month ago. Pace car dives in behind Trevor Favorsky. He goes early. Check up in the middle of the pack from Pelayo as he almost caught out the driver of, I believe that was Teemu Toika unawares, as we get green flag going once again. Battle for third already on. 1, 2, 3, they want to make it Grizzly. And 1, 2, 3, they almost do. Check up Dawson Brock.
And it looked to me like Favorsky, he played a lot of throttle tag, and he seemed to get the whole shot clean, and so he's happy with that one. Pelayo is going to be having trouble. Everyone else has got tires. I think it's at the point where tires are good. Oh, heavens, and he's collected Pelayo.
And they're going to go around. Big one happens. Caution comes out. Number 7, Dawson Brock, making a big hash brown out of all of it then as he collected the wall through 4. He was just off of the groove a little bit, hits the wall, rides it, gets it back, hits Pelayo with nowhere to go, collects Pelayo again. I think there was a third driver getting caught up in that one, Cam, and that was Eric Mickey. What a shame for the Daytona 500 winner.
Yeah, but you got to first off give a shout out to Roy Cunningham. Cunningham saw the incident, got on the driver radio, and much like that extraordinarily large light on the dashboard, started telling everybody to check up, and I think that really helped out. And then you got to give a shout out to the number 666 machine. If we can maybe perhaps go on board with Yolis Pultiklis here on the production feed, because as here we go, as you can see, he's coming off of the corner. He starts to approach the incident. You're going to see why I wanted to point this out. He sees the incident, he tries to put it in the wall, and he has a car go directly over his head.
Wow, so sometimes you brush it close. Sometimes you brush it Days of Thunder close. And for Utilis Puteklis there, Cam, I think it's very clear to say this. I think he brushed it Days of Thunder close.
Well, he has a purple roll bar. It is now silver on that side.
I think it definitely is. This changes things a little bit then. So Trevor Favorsky still has the lead of this one. Tapani Liluoto now moves up into second with Travis Henderson in third. Pete Harrod then to fourth. Marcus Niskanen fifth. Stephen Baxter in sixth. Lucky Dog Loser will go around. That's Kip the Hairflick Stevens, who now gets back on the leading lap. Let's not forget, Cam, at one stage he was 2 laps down on this one.
The Lucky Dog Loser?
Yeah.
Well, when you get the Lucky Dog, it's not a bad thing.
No, but surely you could be considered a loser in some respects by being in that position in the first place.
Yeah, but still, either way, jeesh.
There we go, the first either way of the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.
I've said like 3 already. So, for me, we're 45 minutes into this race. We're 74 laps into this race. Things are getting interesting. Travis Henderson started 23rd. He's up to 3rd. Stephen Baxter, he started 20th. He's up to 6th. I mean, the field is completely shuffled like a deck in Las Vegas. And it's just going to be surprising to see how everything's been turning out so far.
It's been very surprising. I can tell you this right now. As the field went past the start-finish line, only one driver is currently where he started in this event. It's the number 46 machine of Teemu Toika, started 9th is in 9th position. Let's get a graphic up. Your biggest movers and shakers in the field. Travis Henderson, plus 20. Pete Harrod is plus 14. Marcus Niskanen is plus 12. You got Stephen Baxter, plus 14 in this one. Stefan Schlacker, for being up at the front at one stage, he's still there. He's plus 11 in 10th position. So this is still a little bit backwards from what a couple of people may see. Let's not count out Jamie Fluke, though, here, Cam, because he did make a couple of positions. He's now up into position 18 with Roy Cunningham the next to chase.
Well, you know, it's good for Jamie Fluke to be up to 18th. You know, a driver isn't really that fast. It's good to see him up there, you know, in the mid-pack. But either way, we'll see if Jamie Fluke can get himself on. And we'll see how he handles the field. I mean, Phoenix is tricky. And for him to be able to have so much more speed than everyone else, and then maneuver around everyone, and then be able to manage the positioning, it's going to be a challenge, but I think he's going to be able to do it.
Well, we saw how good he was in the opening race. We saw how good he was in the opening 50 laps. They're two abreast once again on lap 76, looking to start lap 77. Of course, the Copper Classic brought to you by Lion Tamer Beard Care. Make sure that you tame your mane. Priva Vorosky will have to tame the field, as he's got Tapani Littlewoto, the championship leader, just on his outside. Pace car comes in, green flag. Let's get going. The 7th time we try and get this one going in green conditions. In fact, we've had 7 cautions, looking to try and get the 8th start going very, very well. Littlewoto gets good, as now Pete Harrod will go high side, looking to try and make this move for position 4. Look at Littlewoto down to the inside. This one for the lead.
And he might just be able to get it here as we get ourselves underway again. He gives a bit of a shove to Trevor Vovorski. Vovorski, he straightens himself out. That was a bit of a pant-changing moment, and he slots himself in the back.
Well, he'll be very happy. His overalls are red and black because it hides brown very nicely. So he holds position. He does very well. He moves into the middle of the pack. Niskanen under pressure. He's lost the position to Schlacker. Now to the inside goes David Barraclough in the Torque Freak Racing Machine. He's down on the inside looking to get some push. He's going to try and keep this one going, as now you've got Henderson versus Harrod for position 2 out on circuit now. Harrod on the inside gets a little bit loose through 1. Little bit loose through 2. Check up. Baxter gets a shove from the driver of Schlacker.
Yeah, and that is going to allow Stefan Schlacker now and Marcus Niskanen to come into the picture, as well as Marco Penttinen, as he is working his way through right now. We saw a couple of replays from Trevor Vovorski, and that was just a very impressive
they're in the
save.
wall.
Oh,
and
dear.
that's a caution. That was Schlacker and Baxter coming together. They warned about it earlier on. Off the exit of 4, it always tightens up. Well, Baxter had himself clear, came up the circuit, and I think that was a little bit there. Schlacker getting too close to the wall, having to correct, and a slight overcorrection into Baxter. That's caution 8 of the day.
Yeah, and James Ewens, unfortunately, he ended up crashing on his own. Cunningham, once again, got on the radio almost immediately, and everyone was able to check up, and James Ewens, and I think this is actually going to be a very bad thing for that number 43 machine. I only mentioned it simply because the only thing that has touched the inside pit wall that's caused him to spin was his left rear tire, including the rim. So that car's suspension is not the way that it was initially designed. So lots of cars getting scrapped up and damaged here today.
No, it's not the way it was designed. I think James Ewens got the call late to check up because he was very nearly, actually, into the back of Dawson Brock. I wonder if we can get a replay of that, because Dawson Brock was very nearly caught up in the crosshairs. When you're at the back cam, you can so easily get complacent when it comes to things like this. When things happen, there's a few pitters that are coming in. Dawson Brock is one of them. In comes Schlacker, Ewens, and DeCourt once again. I think we're seeing Casper DeCourt try and stay on the leading lap here by just taking a little bit of damage time and time again. Vovorski comes in also.
You got to remember, DeCourt was one of the very first incidents today where he had to take his fast repair very quickly, so it's good to see him on the lead lap as these cars get themselves sorted out, worked on. Now we do have yet another leader. It is Tapani Linuoloto. with Travis Henderson, his rear. Pete Herod is going to be behind him, Marco Penttinen as well. So interesting to see here how everything has been developing. Jamie Fluke is finding himself in 15th. Antti Pelagia is running well in the back. I think was his car. Did he retire?
He's
No.
a lap down. He's still going, Cam. He's a lap down, but I think he is in
I see
position
23rd.
for the lucky dog.
Yeah, and he might have actually just taken at this lap. That's why I didn't see him. So that might have been it. Or well, he's on the apron, so who knows?
Who knows indeed. What I do know is the fact that we still got the lights on top of the pace car right now. We are currently on lap 83 here of 200. We are very, very nearly at the halfway stage. We are about 50 minutes through here on this one. We are running very, very close to time. If things stay like this, Cam, I think we're running this one to time.
I mean, that's just how it's going to go. 55 minutes, 82 laps. That's what, 30 some odd, like 30, almost 40 seconds a lap, basically, average, which is not good when you're an extraordinarily fast race car. So we're almost 1 hour in. We've got 55, we got an hour basically remaining to do 120 laps. So they better get a green flag run going, and they better get it quick.
They better get it quick. That's what we are hoping for. You know, races like this, if we had 200 laps green, I'm pretty sure we could get this done in, what, 45 minutes? If we pushed, maybe an hour and 20 there or thereabouts. My maths ain't brilliant, let's be perfectly honest, as they go too wide. But an hour 55, normally more than enough. 8 cautions, so this could be the second straight race here in the majors that goes to time instead of the full 200. But Tapai Lilluoto won't care. He's the championship leader. He's looking to fight off Teemu Toika and, of course, Marco Penttinen. Penttinen in position number 4 is going to be giving a run for Lilluoto's money. Worth noting here in the Euro split that in terms of the championship picture that we have going on right now, I believe, as I don't quite have it up in front of me right now, I believe we are 1, 2, and 3 going on in the European division for Finland. They are having a very good running of things, and I'm absolutely right. Lilluoto, Toika, and Niskanen, your top 3. Not Penttinen, but Niskanen in position number 5. Pace car will dive down onto the lane. Restart number 9. An early jump, very early jump for Lilluoto. He catches everybody off guard then as he looks to go early, trying to spread the field, looking to get the green flag run, and we're all good at this stage through turn number 1. Nobody really running into dramas, nobody running amok at this stage. They file it out, single file, 2 wide. Baker going at it here with Anthony, 3 wide in the mid.
Still building up speed as they go through the dog leg, now heading into 3 and 4. Lilluoto does come off, and he goes down the front stretch right now comfortably with about a 3-4 car length lead over Travis Henderson. Then you've got Pete Herod, Marco Penttinen, Marcus Niskanen, then Teemu Toika, and then David Barraclough. So good running here, and then you got a battle for the 8th position.
Yeah, we do. That battle being Anthony versus Baker. Anthony gets himself there. He has been very strong all race, and he knows he's got to run because about 5 positions back is Jamie Fluke, looking to get the run off of the exit and getting a good run here on George Gruber and Eric Mickey. Mickey now is going to have to be careful. They leave it low and, well, go to the supermarket, Jamie. There could be a 2-for-1 offer. It's only going to be the solo, though, as they're side by side further in front. Pete Herod against Marco Penttinen.
Yeah, and I think Herod's got a pretty good thing going on the inside. This track is wearing in. We got to remember that the rubber is getting laid down. That, to me, is going to be important, but Penttinen is better off the exit of 4. He gets the line. I hear perhaps a little bit of bobbling on the throttle, but everyone looks all right. Pete Herod, he lost the rears for only a second.
Yeah, he lost it for just a second, but he keeps himself going in position number 4 as there's 2 by 2 behind. Toika versus Niskanen. Barraclough versus Antley. Antley looking to try and get the attack. Antley was so strong at Daytona in the Classic 2.4. He needs to get himself on the outside, making moves. He did not show up at the circuit of Daytona for the 500, but around the outside he will try again, and he's got a good run this time. He gets himself through then on David Barraclough. Barraclough will have to wait. Now Toika becomes the man under pressure. Behind that, look at Fluke. He's looking to go through on Yildiz Putekilis, and Putekilis will run high.
And there is a massive conflagration of cars right in the sixth to back position is Marcus Niskanen. He is trying everything he can to hold that position, but Fernando Bosquez he is trying as hard as he can to get himself around. He's got speed, Fernando does, which it just seems to be a trait of people who are named Fernando, as Timu Toika is also running very strong right now. Barriclow sorting himself out, but here comes Jamie Fluke. He's trying to get comfortable, but they all slide into single file line. It seems like they give themselves single file line, and then the moment somebody goes too wide, everybody goes too wide.
Yeah, they certainly do, as too wide in front goes Harrod and Niskanen. Niskanen unable to really attack Barriclow under pressure now. David Baker makes his way through on the driver of Barriclow as Barriclow looks to attack back through 3 and 4. He's unable to really make anything happen. Niskanen trying to set up the run, not happening. Battle for second as well. Penttinen versus Henderson as they look to chase Little Luoto.
Yeah, and Lunioloto, he's looking pretty comfortable, just like Fluke was before, but you got to remember, Fluke does have the overall speed. The fastest lap from Lunioloto was a 26 flat, which is actually really impressive, as a 25.9, however, from Jamie Fluke. So that is your fastest lap, I would presume, of the day so far. So that tells you where everyone's speed is. As here comes Marco Penttinen, and he's running the inside line against Travis Henderson. Grizzly powered on the outside.
Grizzly power for Travis Henderson holds the position nicely. So Penttinen looking to attack here to help Little Luoto out in the championship potentially here. Inertia 1-3 as things stands. Now Antley versus Fluke. Fluke is charging through the field. He's on fresh rubber, mind you, and he makes his way through comfortably on the driver of Fernando Antley. Next up, Pete Harrod, who is on one of the oldest tyres of the lot then, as they head through 1 and head through 2, and the door is open, wide open. Niskanen struggles in the back, but that is Pete Harrod now under pressure. Fluke's going to look for the inside.
And here he goes. So just like that, he should have it. And Fernando wants to get in on this as well. Hey, when your guy's in front of you is unsettled, as he has to back out, he tries the high side. Nope. No door there for him to even peek at, as Jamie Fluke has now moved up to 4th position after that spin earlier. And Fernando looks way low. He can't get anything on the exit. They chuck the dog leg and then go down 3 and 4 once again. But as it stands, Jamie Fluke is about 2.2 seconds behind Tapani Lunioloto, and he's only got 2 cars between them. But as it turns out, those 2 cars, Marco Penttinen and Travis Henderson, guys, he's going to have trouble to go through.
Caution should come out. It does, as on his roof, on the roll bar, is Eric Mickey once again. Baxter gets caught in it as well. A long delay crash for Eric Mickey as he looks to try and find himself settled. He finally does at turn number 1. Incident again coming off of turn 4, and it's a scary one, Cam.
We could have taken a commercial for Applebee's in the time that he rolled the car. That's a Talladega Nights reference. As Eric Mickey, he got nipped by Yildiz Putiklis, and once he hit that outside wall, he actually hit Trevor Vovorski like a ramp, the roll bar to roll bar, and that basically threw him up in the air enough that he basically just started rolling, and once he got a good nip from the car of Stefan Baxter as well. Baxter being involved in a couple of these incidents, so unfortunate there. We had a fairly decent run. Jake, unfortunately, didn't pan out.
Didn't pan out. We are heading towards lap 100, and that's probably where we are at this moment. So I think, Cam, when you're looking at what we've seen, this is caution number 9 of the day, and
Travis coming in pits.
Yeah, we certainly
just
are.
Lunioloto comes to the pits.
Oh, gamble Tapani. So he wants to get fresh tyres. Barriclow will decide to follow, as will Gruber, Crum, Brock, and DeCourt, as we see DeCourt normally dive down onto the lane. This is gamble time, Cam.
Well, I mean, he wants new tires. He was already running faster than absolutely everyone. Perhaps he just wants fuel to the finish. Perhaps he wants new tires. We'll see here, but either way, this is going to be a big change for the front.
It is certainly going to be a big change, enough for Little Luoto to drop the lead and want to make some positions back. So what we're going to do, though, we're heading towards halfway at lap 100. We're going to step aside for one moment here on RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live. You are watching the Copper Classic here on iRacing Live, and you are watching what is brilliance from the Euro Majors.
Just like a movie, just like a storybook, we are the future, we're the ones they won't overlook. It's time to be the hero.
Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, you can catch the Skip Barber 2K World Cup presented by DES Simulations after this broadcast at 9 o'clock GMT. Join me, myself, and Will Vincent for that one. Pace car comes down in restart number 10 behind Travis Henderson. Let's get ourselves going once again at the Copper Classic here in the Euro Majors, and Henderson gets a great jump. Penttinen in second. Jamie Fluke has got himself into third once again as he looks to want to wrestle back control of the lead of this event as he held at the start of this one, arguably the fastest man in this field. Fluke looks to the inside and looking, not finding their Cam.
No, they had to get the traction. These guys are going to have to let the tires warm up. The track kind of get baked up back to temperature. You got to remember it does cool off during these cautions and commercials as Fluke does go to the inside, but Penttinen should have a good run if he's able to get it off on the outside. I heard a bobble on the throttle, so not so good of an exit that he had. He's not running Fluke as tight as he should, as that will allow Jamie Fluke to get it through, and he will move himself up to second position with the red roll cage of Grizzly Racing just right up ahead.
And a big wiggle is now down to the inside behind. Pete Harrod under pressure as Fernando Antoli looks to the inside. Battle for the lead though. Fluke is going to check up a little bit then as holding off still. It's Travis Henderson. Henderson may need to think about blocking the moves as time continues to go on at the front of this field behind. Too wide. Niskanen, Schlacker going at it together. And right now you can see Schlacker giving just enough room into the wall. Actually behind that though was the driver of Uldis Putekilis. Not the first time we've seen him in the wall, Cam.
No, and a couple of drivers are really taking some pretty hefty nits out of there. I would be interested to know what the incident counts are, as Jamie Fluke has been working the last 3 laps on the inside of Travis Henderson. I believe Henderson is going to have to yield. The car does not seem to behave like he wants on the outside line, so move Jamie Fluke back up. It's been a while. To position number 1. After 1 hour, we have run 100 laps. So 1 hour and 6 minutes to 106 laps. That's about a minute a lap. That's not going to work.
Parity is resumed for the moment. Battle right in the back. Then Brock, Pelaya, Crum, Liluoto. Remember, Liluoto, one of the freshest tyres of the lot, looking to the inside of Hector Pereira. And looking, searching, finding. Gets the run. Not guaranteed, though, into turn number 1, Cam. As in front of that, too wide. Almost contact there, Cunningham and Vavrovsky.
Yeah, and not even only that, but up ahead you've got also Penttinen and Basquats also in a battle, as well as Toika and Slasher, as everyone seems to be moving up and down the track. They're starting to try to find grip. A lot of these drivers are on older tires, which is fine. You'll have plenty of grip still, plenty of life in these tires, in my opinion. You're just not going to have that sticky. As Fernando goes really high, that number 553 machine, he cuts the nose off of Marco Penttinen. He will keep the position, though, so hey, it all works in the end.
Position 3 is now Fernando Antilles, as you see Pete Harrod go at it with Schlacker. Schlacker looking at the inside, hoping to take that one away. But Harrod, good run off the exit, has to give Schlacker the room as he dances down to the inside. Still looking for that move, though, as he looks to try and apply that pressure. And Schlacker just about able to migrate up the circuit to make sure that Pete Harrod has nowhere to go. Good move there from Stefan Schlacker. He's getting the rhythm.
Yeah, and he does seem to get close up on Marco just enough, but he's got to back out. It's all about that momentum at this point, how he's rolling it through the corners. He leaves himself a little bit too much room, honestly, as he almost goes for a double, and he will lose the rear, so he had to kind of back off of that one. But he should have 1. Will he have 2 going into 3 and 4? Well, we'll find out as he's going around the inside of Fernando Antoli.
Oh, he's going to move up, though, and just about enough room to make that happen. He gets 2 on the apron, though. That's going to cost him here, as you're going to see to the outside, Marco Penttinen looking to try and steal that one away as the gap at the front opens to 8/10, 9/10 of a second for Jamie Fluke, as he runs away once again, as he loves to do here at Phoenix. And Marco Penttinen, now look at this, 3 wide almost they go. Schlacker turns defense to offense as he attacks Antoli down on the inside. Fantastic work. He takes the position.
Oh, aggressive, it's assertive. Yeah, and there goes Fernando. He goes around, he hits the commitment cone, but he's all right. He will continue, but he has lost about 10 positions.
Oh, lucky man, Fernando Antoli. He's now got to work to get back through. He's behind Marcus Niskanen. He's now in position number 10 out on circuit. One vehicle, I think, has just clipped the wall slightly. That might be Putekilis once again. I think it is Putekilis once again who's found the wall. So Putekilis will lose all his momentum and will look to get back going again. Baker under pressure now. Here comes Trevor Vorosky going to the outside. Vorosky making light work of Baker, who is struggling.
Yeah, and it looks to me like Baker's just trying to get that momentum going like it used to, but the car seems to be more point and squirt as the run gets longer. As Travis Vovorski is up ahead of him, so Baker had to back out just a little bit. As it looks to me like these guys, they are still continuing to hope that the throttle holds the car, but really they got to throw it in, let it slow down, then get back on the throttle for the exit. It's kind of a shift of how these cars are driving, and whoever can adapt to that is going to pull away with it. And I want to see, where is Linuolodo?
Currently in position number 12, I think. We're looking at.
Yeah, so he is storming through the field then.
Yeah, he is. He's getting a really good run. He's looking at Fernando Antoli, who is struggling a little bit up behind, unable to really make things happen. Behind that, Pelayo almost getting into Kip Stevens there, I believe that was, as the pair look to have that little bit of a scrap. Finland against UK and I. More contact between the pair, the favour thrown back.
Yeah, and so these guys get a little handsy. Hopefully they don't get too handsy. As somebody gets turned around, that's going to pull out a caution. Yeah, there's Pelayo.
And that was Kip Stevens saying, "You're going to hit me, son? No. Come back and try again." Pelayo gets turned. We get a caution on lap 114. It's the 10th caution of the day. And that was a good green flag run, but Pelayo, for the second time, has turned around and not collected anybody else.
Yeah, and that was right to the inside, right on the entry of pit lane, so it was a safe spin, about as safe as it can be. But yeah, just unfortunate for how Antti Pelayo's day has worked out. He has ran strong, started second, and just hasn't been able to pull anything off once he had that incident.
Yeah, that's what we've been seeing as the lap count ticks down. We are currently staged at 85 laps to go. In terms of our minutes left, we have ourselves 49 minutes to go when we last crossed the start-finish line. So we are really at that gamble point. I think we're looking at maybe 3 more cautions and we could be heading to time here. It now depends. Big move from Henderson. He wants to dive down onto the lane. He does. In comes Baker. In comes Antoli. In comes Niskanen. And also incoming is Brock and Stevens. And let's not forget also the likes of Pereira, Putekilis, who's been in the wall, and Casper de Court, who's trying to fix that front bumper as much as he possibly can to stay on the leading lap count.
Yeah, and hey, you know, if you're back there and you're not comfortable with the car, just pull it in, get it fixed. It's not going to cost you anything. You know, maybe get some tires, get comfortable. As car is now getting serviced, Travis Henderson is going to come out and he's going to rejoin. I believe he's just going to be sent to the end of the longest line, or the end of the line, I guess, as they're going to get themselves sorted out. But either way, Jamie Fluke, Stefan Schlacker, Marco Penttinen, and Pete Hera, 4 guys that we've been talking about all day. That's going to be your front 4.
It is going to be your front 4. So I tell you what was very interesting was looking at the times before they went. So lap 112, lap 113. For Fluke was 26.3, 26.2, 26.3 before the caution. You look at what Schlacker was doing, 26.3, 26.2, 26.4. So they were very even. I think only a tenth went away in terms of Schlacker's side. I think Stefan Schlacker is actually finding something to match Jamie Fluke at this stage because he's on fresher tyres.
Yeah, and how long is that advantage going to last then? So it's just, it's going to be a challenge, I see. I think Fluke is going to be able to pull away, and I don't think he's going to be getting challenged anytime soon, as long as he keeps his car clean, as I'm sure the lights will be going out on the pace car this time by as you go down towards 3 and 4. But it is going to be this massive challenge. How do you predict every single try to restart? Because it only takes one bump, one nudge to spin somebody around in front of the rest of the field.
Lights stay on for now. It's just a case, I think, of Schlacker wants to run this one too wide. I think He wants to just keep himself there. I find it interesting that he wants to run the longer line and save maybe a little bit less fuel than what you'd normally see, as Jamie Fluke angles to think about going down to lane. He won't. But I think that this is the sort of area that we're looking at. It's now a case of, are we going to make all the laps? And if we're not, how do we change our strategy accordingly in this situation, Cam, to make that work?
I honestly don't know much about the Silver Crown machine as far as making that work goes. I don't know how the fuel goes. I think we've had enough cautions that I'm not sure if you just started with a full tank of fuel, you only needed like 3 or 4 or 5 cautions to make it on a full tank of fuel at the start of the race. Fuel, I don't think, is an issue anymore. I think it's just what people want with tires. And how big of a difference does tires make? I just don't know.
I think there's a few tenths in it. There's a nice little gecko on the front there of Stefan Schlacker's machine saying Geico just underneath. I think that's very nice, but there's a small bit of damage from the way that I look at it. We will see how things go. We've had 10 cautions on lap 119 to start lap 120. We will get ourselves going. So 81 laps to go behind Jamie Fluke. Green flag flies. Let's get going again. Schlacker matches him every single step of the way into one, and Fluke for the first time may be beaten.
Well, I think he's going to drive up the track and force him into an issue. No, he's not. So there you go. Just like that, Schlacker is able to get the good run as Fluke a little bit out of practice on those restarts. Maybe had a bobble, maybe had a mistake. Now Fluke is going to be your second position running machine behind the 117 of Stefan Schlacker. Schlacker now, he has got about a 2-car gap at the start-finish line.
2-car gap, all that's needed to the inside. Looks Trevor Vorosky on Marco Penttinen. Penttinen will have to defend. Little wiggle there in the middle from Vorosky. Holds on to things just for the moment. Teemu Toika waiting in the wings in 6th position. Out on track, big 2 wides behind though. You got Gruber, Baker and Crum going at it. Pelayo in there with Anthony. We saw Pelayo involved in the spin earlier on, but you're seeing now just how this scrap continues. As at the front, Fluke looks high.
Yeah, and he's not going to have anything up there, at least for now, as Schlacker's machine does seem to be getting loose fairly often, and there's some good battling going on behind. Pete Herod's got Marco Penttinen on his inside. Chavo Boborski, Teemu Toika, and David Barriclow all running along as they are trying their best, as it is just continuing to turn into a battle here. But we've seen every single time these guys battle here, Jake, something happens.
That was Harrod in the wall at the exit of 4. That cost him the position to Vorosky. It may cost him to Teemu Toika as well, who looks to the inside but gets no help in the run to 3 and 4. You don't often talk about that. Fluke in the wall at turn number 3. Jamie Fluke suddenly runs himself into a load of issues. He was looking to go deep into the corner cam, and he almost ran into the back of Schlacker.
I think he did run into the back. He got some front damage there. As I'm not sure what happened with Schlacker. He was doing 166. He dumped it down to like 122. Even slower than that. I'm not sure what, if anything, had happened to his machine, but Flake was not anticipating it at all. Now he's got front damage.
He has front damage, and that is Jamie Fluke under immense pressures. He wants a caution and wants a caution quickly. No, he'll dive down for a green flag stop. Jamie Fluke all but out of this event. One of the favourites coming into this one. Toika under pressure now as Barriclow gets loose as he looks for it through. Suddenly, Schlacker's got a second. Penttinen versus Vorosky for second.
And you've seen the replays a couple of times here, just the car in front of him just slowing down far faster than Fluke was anticipating. Stefan Schlacker has now clocked the outside wall. Perhaps that was a tires situation too. Fluke was just able to drive that much deeper into the corner, but I will say this is starting to turn into high dramas here, and you've got some good fighting going on in the back. So we'll have to see how this develops, but of all the times that Fluke needed a caution, it did not come out when he needed it. So it's Marco Penttinen and Trevor Vovorski, your second and third cars, but they're quite a ways back.
They are at this stage. Good scrap in the middle of the pack behind Roy Cunningham. Pelayo there. Fernando Antoli waiting 2 wide further in front. Let's look further forward to that. Barriclow attacking Toika once again. Teemu Toika, Tinker Taylor, Toika Spy. He may need to find a move to try and go to the outside and hold position for the moment. Unable to really clear here as Barraclough working the inside, starting to come back now here as he keeps on working here. This is good work from Barraclough. He is a sleeper agent if ever I saw one.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's just working as hard as he can. The UK&I Club guy, I mean, I kind of expect some oval experience, just by the nature of it. As the 555, he gets to the inside. He's managed to make the maneuver on the Team Bushfink machine, the 46. So, hey, these guys are continuing to work their way through, and now he's got Trevor Vovorski here. And when one fails, the others will rise. And Jamie Fluke, he is done for the day.
He is, as Penton again under pressure as Vovorski comes to the inside. Grizzly wiggle as he heads through 2, looking to get back here as we now hit 70 laps to go in 2 laps time. We're currently 72 to go, 71 to go when we cross the line. Vovorski is looking at Penton. Can I keep attacking? At the moment, the answer is going to be no. Side by side further back, Dawson Brock makes his way through on Hector Pereira. Good little move.
Yeah, and these guys are continuing to their fight here as the Connie Lignoloto has closed out to 5th position now. He has worked his way through the field, and he is now closing. So I think perhaps one of your fastest drivers right now, as Stefan Schlocker has a gap. So he had wheel damage from when he tapped the outside wall. So nothing in it for him either.
Green flag stop for Stefan Schlacker. This releases the field a little bit longer. It now means that it's Marco Penton who leads this one. Vovorski second, Barraclough up to the train in 3rd, Liluoto in 4th, with David Baker now in 5th position. Pelaya into the back of George Gruber. He goes high, loses the position to Antley, holds it together up on the high side, and now looking to get the run off of the exit. Pelaya for the 4th time gets involved.
Yeah, and I mean, it just looks to me like I just saw one of the cars slide up Vovorski. It was the Grizzly car, the number 10. He slid way up the track, so he had to back out from the final fight with David Barraclough as we're watching. We had watched the replay of Schlacker coming into pit lane just a few moments ago. But it just looks to me everyone's starting to stack up. They're starting to realize, hey, the fast guys are starting to let go here. They're starting to have issues. Let's go get it.
Let's go racing, boys. So they're now starting to think, well, let's get a long run, gloves off on this one. We know that nobody has truly broken away as we get some side-by-side from Grizzlies. Henderson right now in a scrap with Dawson Brock. Brock's not going to let that happen. Just in front of that contact, Cunningham goes to the apron, holds it 3 wide. No, he gets a check. The Grizzlies go around. Caution comes out. Number 11 of the day. And this on lap 134 means that we are continuing on with the caution theme. The 2 Grizzlies came together, and oh, it was very Grizzly, Cam.
Easy. As Henderson really kind of kicked this off by really hitting the rear end of Roy Cunningham. And once he did that, Cunningham went to the apron to try to be evasive, and frankly, going 100 miles an hour on a completely flat surface isn't going to work. The gravitational pull, whatever, the what's the word I'm looking for? The
Centripetal force.
Centripetal force, thank you. It will pull that car to the outside. Once he clipped that banking, clipped the 2 cars, and it just how happened. It was the 2 Grizzly boys. Not only that, 2 completely innocent victims, Markus Niskanen and the other driver of, was it Puliklis? No, one of the other cars.
Yeah, so we saw how Vovorski was involved. Dawson Brock also involved. Puteklis comes in. Travis Henderson comes in. Also in on the lane is Markus Niskanen. So only 3 takers to the lane here with just about 65 to go. In fact, more come in. Baker comes
lots of
in.
people.
Oh, yes, a lot of people in. So who stays out? I think it's the easier one. Barraclough stays out. Vovorski stays out. Pelaya stays out. That's about it. Penton and Pitts, Liluoto, Baker, Toyka, Harrod. I think they're taking the last little bit of fuel before they can get themselves to the end cap.
That, I think it's tires at this point. I believe everyone's fuel tank is loaded to bear. I don't know what the ratios are. I don't see them doing like fuel stuff. I see them doing tires. And that's going to be your front scooter, rear scooter. And then you got your guys changing the tires out. So get some new rubber on that. Get that thing out and about. And Tapani Lignoloto is not going to get away first. It's going to go to David Baker. And not even David Baker to Marco Penton and to Tapani Lignoloto. So there you go.
There you go, indeed. So it's now about how you make the gaps and how you get them. So Penton getting himself out there. David Baker having a very good stop of things. So he's getting himself a very good run. So the field now looks like this. David Barraclough at the front of the field, so I get a little bit of a hiccup with Trevor Vorovsky in second, Antti Palaja third. Fourth will now go to Roy Cunningham in the 44 machine. Stephen Baxter will come in fifth, with right now Marcus Niskanen actually going to just steal around the lap vehicle actually of Stephen Baxter, who is 19 laps down. So David Baker now up into 6th position after the big one that we just saw. Penttinen now in 7th, 8th for Tapani Linluoto, 9th for Teemu Toika, rounding out the top 10. Fernando Antli, who has had a very up and down day as things stands. As far as the clock goes for this one, Cam, we are currently under 40 minutes, if not heading to under 35 minutes to go in this one. 35 minutes, and we got ourselves 60-ish laps left to go in this one. It's marginal.
I'm pretty confident that we're probably going to hit the timer on this one. So I would just presume, because I can tell you this is definitely not going to be the last caution, especially once we start getting under 10, 15 to go. So I would just presume, folks, that this is going to be going for another 30 minutes.
Another 30 minutes. So what we'll do is we will, instead of showing 200 laps on what is our feed that we got right now, we're going to change it, as we already have done, to timer that we've got going left in this event. We will be going to time. We will not be doing the full 200 laps. We'll get close, but close is not...
Oh, the red pen came out.
Oh, we got red pen. Red pen time,
yeah,
yes.
Will does yellow. I guess Hugo is translucent red.
Yes, look at the clock. The clock. That's what we had there. So we're too wide right now as they head through the dogleg once more. I believe we have lights off at the top of the iRacing safety car. We do. So when we come back to live, when we get ourselves back to green, we will have ourselves under 30 minutes left to go. David Barraclough in control of the field. Lap 139. We are going to go onto... Pace car dives in. Bolt Freak goes late, and goes very, very late as well. Gets the jump needed there on Trevor Vorovsky. Vorovsky was almost leaning a little bit too far forward. Palaja in position number 3. The chase very much on now as they head through 1 and 2 once again.
And here comes Palaja. He's trying to run the inside line. He wanted to get 2, but David Barraclough took the nose away as he went down. Somebody's tracking up high. David Baker, he hits Tapani Linluoto, and this is going to start a pile up. Will they cause an incident? Linluoto straightens himself out. Everyone straightens themselves out. We stay green.
How do we stay green? Brilliant work for everyone to hold it together. Linluoto especially in that situation. They keep themselves together for now. Linluoto gets back going on the offensive. Toika under pressure now. Marcus Niskanen wants to go to the inside here at 3 and 4. Unable to really make a meaningful attack as on the exit. Teemu Toika looks beautifully done. At the front though, here comes the move. Barraclough, you're under pressure. Vorovsky is searching.
And for everyone else, that took a lot of good cars and gave them a hefty, and I mean hefty amount of damage. And so how is that going to affect the outcome of this race? Well, who knows? You've got David Barraclough up front, Vorovsky in second, Palaja in third, Cunningham, Baker, and then Toika. So good running here, I have to say, after everyone managed to get themselves sorted. Well, let's keep it that way. We have got to run here. I will say, as Vorovsky almost loses the rears, it is going to be tight if we do run green the rest of the way. I don't know how it might work, but who knows?
Oh, and Niskanen up into the wall now. Niskanen up high. He looks to go down low. Hold it, hold it. He does hold it, so we're going to stay green again. Marcus Niskanen does well to hold the machine. They all filter around him. That was a mistake, and that is enough to just drop him pretty much out of contention for this one. Palaja again looking to the inside, not happening behind that. Cunningham under pressure. There's Baker, there's Toika, there's Penttinen. Penttinen's the man on the move.
Yeah, and he's trying to recover, really, as he gets around the outside. Now he's going to perhaps look to the inside of Tumu Toika. Though it's the number 65 versus the 46 goes down late, which Toika might have been anticipating needing that track space, so he's going to out push high. No, Pettinen's going to not be able to get off through. So we got to wait for the track to come in, the tires to come in. Should be 2-3 laps, and then we'll see how these guys go. But the fists are coming out. There goes Roy Cunningham. Running Cunningham gets hit by David Baker. These two coming around, and nothing Cunningham can do. He's a passenger as he get hit, and here we go.
Big yellow there. It was on the apron. Hector Pereira will cause the yellow then as he goes up and over and over. That one was a delayed wait. They saw I believe the steward saw them on the apron on the inside. That was all down, started by Cunningham coming together there with David Baker, who was looking at the inside, just tagged it, and that was Baker down on the infield. That was fine. You then saw Cunningham come back up, hold it together on the infield. That's fine. And then it was that third little vehicle that comes around. I believe that was Hector Pereira getting caught that causes the big one. And another incident makes it caution number 12 here at Phoenix.
Yeah, that was just not what you want to see for sure. But either way, it is not what we wanted to see. But it's just how the race is going.
It's the way the race is going. It's the way that sometimes it certainly does happen on lap number 146. 54 lap to go for David Barraclough now as he crosses the start-finish line. We will not get all those laps done. No way, no how. As Antti Pelaaja is in second, Vavroski third, and Toika is in fourth. We're going to step aside for one moment, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back with more of the Copper Classic, the conclusion to the Copper Classic, the last half an hour after this.
Introducing a whole new form of racing to the best online racing simulation in the world. This is Dirt Racing on iRacing.com. Race online at some of America's most legendary dirt tracks, including Eldora and Williams Grove. iRacing is the premier online racing game featuring NASCAR, IndyCar, sports cars, and now World of Outlaws, the leading sanctioning body for dirt racing. iRacing is easy to use and features a centralized ranking system to make sure you have the best experience at any skill level. With a massive inventory of high-precision laser scan tracks and cars with an unmatched dedication to quality and detail, iRacing gives you the most authentic online racing experience available. Thanks to iRacing's dynamic track system, developed specifically for dirt racing, tracks change over the course of a race, just like your favorite dirt track on a Friday or Saturday night. From a slick racing groove all the way up to the cushion, iRacing's dirt tracks deliver non-stop racing action. Partnered with the World of Outlaws, iRacing is your source for the most authentic dirt racing experience available, featuring 4 brand new tracks and 11 new cars, including street stocks, Legends cars, late models, NASCAR trucks, winged and non-winged sprint cars, with much more on the way. Join the Dirt Revolution on iRacing.com and start slinging mud today.
Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, that our series here. The Copper Classic is sponsored by Lion Tamer Beard Care. Tame your mane. As the racing action continues, we are not going the full 200 laps as we see the pace car dive in with 51 to go. We are going to time behind David Barraclough, who gets a good jump at things with Anti-Pelaya. I am #YouMind Jake Sperry, joined with Cam Walsh, and into turn number 1 and 2 they come along once again. Little bit of a wiggle there. I believe that was Fernando Anthony. Big up and under though from the driver of Anti-Pelaya, who moves to the race lead.
Yeah, and Pelaya, he has been a long running here, a bit of a nip between him and David Barraclough. Barraclough gets washed out. Now he's going to have to try to drive down, but Fernando Antoli is not going to want that. He gets another nip there as there comes Vovorski. Everyone moving around slightly as they sort themselves out 3 wide going into corner number 1, and Pennington had nowhere to go.
Pennington doing well, more contact there in the middle as I believe that was Liluoto, the championship leader, getting a little bit caught up with Trevor Vovorski. Vovorski on the outside box as he looks to give a push down into turn number 3 and 4, trying to make sure Pennington doesn't get any opportunities. Pennington gets the run, Pennington goes through. Look at now Teemu Toika in third in the championship, looking for the push, looking to go through, needing championship points, gets himself to the forefront.
Yeah, just like that, slid himself under. So now Teemu Toika is now your race leader. This is probably, our 6th or 7th leader all today. So a lot of people leading this race, despite all the cautions and calamities that we have had. So Anti-Pelaya is going to chase him down hard. I'm sure getting the speed as they run on through here at Phoenix International Raceway on iRacing Live RaceSpotTV. I have to say, we've had a pretty good running, Jake, so far. It's just we've had these cautions. If we didn't have these cautions, I think it'd be a heck of a lot better.
I think it certainly could do. Teemu Toika lead the championship if things stay like this. So keep an eye on this one then as action continues. As now the battle for 4th hops up. Pennington down to the inside as he looks to try and steal it away from Fernando Anthony. Anthony tries to come back up the circuit. He's unable to make the run. Up to 4th now. Pennington's moving.
And here comes Pelagia. No, he will not. But deep onto the corner is David Barraclough as they all come on through, as these guys are all taking very different lines where they start going. This is the problem. Everyone kind of takes a different line. Some people, they go in slow, out fast, and some go and just coast in fast and then wait for the car to settle and then get on the accelerator. That's different points of the same corner that they are going to be traveling at different speeds. That is going to be a pretty darn big problem if they keep letting that grow. As we're closing out lap 155, I have to say, Jake,
in the wall. Stuck in the wall. There's contact as well, further in front as well. That was Barraclough getting shoved out to dry by Marco Pennington. 2 bits of incident in the same bit of real estate, and suddenly we're going to go 3 wide here to 3 and 4. Schlucker on the outside.
Yeah, and that is Vovorski on the inside. These guys, they're not communicating very well as far as the drivers go. Couple more cars nip and tuck on each other here. These guys got to start realizing you got to study the car in front of you. That's what you have to do as an oval guy. You need to study the car in front of you. You need to do their points, whether you like it or not. Otherwise, you get this where people are hitting and banging on each other, and it's just not going to hold if they continue to do stuff.
It certainly won't. Toika leads, Pelaya in 2nd, Pennington now to 3rd, Anthony moving up now into 4th. How has he struggled today? And suddenly finding himself in the position where he needs to, on the back of the fastest man on this pack, who closed another 10/2 on the driver of Anti-Pelaya just in front. The battle for 5th remains. Schlucker versus Barraclough. Schlucker looks not happening. Side by side, Liluoto needs positions for the championship. 11-point lead right now, side by side with Gruber.
Yeah, and I think for me, here comes Schlocker. He wants the inside. They're going to touch wheels. Here we go. David Barraclough gets shoved up to the outside line. Yellow comes out, and he's crunched into the wall, and one car goes right around him at the last second.
David Barraclough will feel robbed. He deserved it as round went Stephen Baxter as well. Barraclough had a fantastic run up to that point, but the caution comes out with just 18 minutes left to go. We're going to take another 5.5 minutes off the clock as we make our way around, maybe a bit more. That's going to give us maybe 30 more laps of green flag running at this stage, Cam, as And that, in terms of what we have seen, brings Teemu Toika back into play, crucially for Tapani Linaloto, who's now in 7th.
Yeah, and basically everybody is damaged except for Marco Penttinen. The Penttinen machine looks pretty darn good compared to everyone else, which is impressive because he's been in the wars, and Linaloto also looks like he's got a pretty clean car. So we'll have to see how this goes, how the tires hold up. I think fuel, obviously not an issue, but I do have to say, Jake, we probably need to get some fuel in the Mustang pace car.
I think we do, and I'll say something right now. I think the Mustang pace car has had the most led laps here today.
Well, I mean, well, maybe as an individual, I mean, it would be close, I would say, but I think perhaps, I mean, he's obviously the most comfortable. He's got air conditioning and heating and stuff like that, but...
He certainly does, as he goes around at 88 kilometers an hour. Kurt Crum is the lucky dog. He will get himself back. Just 17 vehicles now, currently trying to get the run. We've got a few down on the lane, the likes of the hair flick. Kip Stevens is one of them at this stage. So I think right now, it's evaluation time. You need to start going out there and being the attacking factor. You got someone like Toika who started from 9th. Antti Pelaaja was on the front row to begin with this one. You got Penttinen there, Anteli's there, Schlacher's had some great running, Vavrovski's been up there. All these drivers, I think 1st through 7th, have had a shot at one stage of really going out there and going for this one. No takers anymore, as actually one more will come down to lane. That's Dawson Brock.
Yeah, this is just people getting repairs, tires, stuff like that. So, we'll have to find out exactly how Teemu Toika will take the start here. We have seen so many different people take it at different points, and how aggressive will Pelaaja be? How aggressive will Penttinen be? How aggressive will Fernando Antoli be, or Stefan Schlacher, or Trevor Vavorsky, or Tapani Linaloto? I mean, pretty much everyone in the top 7 has been people that have led this race or been right there. So we'll have to see how it goes. This is, it's going to be a trip for sure.
Going to be a trip, maybe not in a little rocket ship, but you must say that Teemu Toika now will have his work cut out. The first time he's really been at the front of this field, and it's right at the business end of the racing that we have got. The clock is ticking down. We are down under 15 minutes. We are looking down towards under 14 minutes very, very shortly. And Teemu Toika, all of a sudden, now how do you feel? This is where the nerves kick in, Cam, as we go too wide once again. This is where the nerves come in after caution number 13.
Yeah, and you just got to get yourself sorted out. I wouldn't play any games. When the pace car pulls off, just let it go. See what happens. Stick to your inside line. Wait for the track to come in. Wait for the tires to come in. And then just hit your times.
Hit your times. That's your goal, Mr. Toika. You've been up there. You are one of the best all-rounders in sim racing. We'll see if you can go out there and prove it now as a Bushfink. You know, you've got a lot to work with. You've got Antti Pelaaja, Finnish compatriots. Finland are 1, 2, 3 with Marco Penttinen in position number 3. Don't count out Linaloto in the 4th row in 7th, but the pace car rounding NASCAR turn 4 looks to dive down onto pit road. Toika goes early, green flag, 14 minutes and under left to go, 13 minutes and under we now look. Down to the inside goes Penttinen, looking at Fernando Antoli, who runs high. Antoli washes out, and there's position number 3.
Yeah, and Schlacher wants to get a piece of this action. He wants the inside of Fernando Antoli's machine. He might get it as Marco Penttinen is there. He has to back out a little bit here, as here comes Linaloto, perhaps on the inside of Trevor Vavorsky, as these guys are working hard. Teemu Toika, he's got a clean run. So does Pelaaja, as here comes Fernando Antoli on the inside. And the reason why you see a timer on your screen, by the way, we don't have enough time for the run of it, so we've just got to finish out the timer.
Schlacher wanted to attack, he couldn't, he had to back out of it. Vavrovsky now will look for an opportunity, and I think he will as he now goes to the outside at 3 and 4. Schlacher moves high, looks to block, but doesn't quite block enough as Vavrovsky will make his way past. Linaloto will want to follow, he's boxed on the outside, looking for opportunities. Every point matters right now. He needs to get to about 4th to try and negate Toika's win at this stage to maintain the lead of the championship. Toika leads this one. Antti Pelaaja, 2nd position. Penttinen 3rd. Anteli in 4th. The battle for 6th hots up. Schlucker to the inside of Vavroski once again.
Yeah, and I think that if these guys continue to battle, it's going to let these guys in the front get away, and they better be careful. There's only 12 minutes to go here in the race, so these guys got to be quick. As Schlocker is running the inside line, here comes Baker. He wants to run even inside her, but he clips the apron. He'll have to back out. That allows Lunoloto to perhaps slot down in that 9:51, so good battling, I guess, going on back here.
Yeah, certainly has been, and this is for the lower regions of the top 10 as George Gruber now wants to attack. Pete Harrod will look to the inside and get an opportunity. He's not going to be able to attack too much on George Gruber, who runs high. Now you see Little Otto go inside of Treva Vavroski. He looks to make that happen. Look at how Penttinen is clawing back Pelaaja to make it a train of 4 now, Cam. It's not just a train of 2. Still, Little Otto on the inside. Still, Little Otto takes the position.
And he's been trying his butt off to get that position. He wants to get by. He wants to get himself sorted out. His car is in good shape, so he's going to now chase Stefan Schlocker as they go through, as right now your fastest lap times are not where with Teemu Toika. He ran a 26.4, and he's got nobody ahead of him, so Antti Pelaaja is going to be coming in pretty soon, and so is Fernando as well as Marco. So here we go. Everyone's going to close up now behind Teemu Toika. Now they've got themselves sorted out. Expect action momentarily.
Expect some action indeed as Teemu Toika again holding a very accomplished line, as Antti Pelaaja has never looked comfortable enough to go and attack Teemu Toika at any stage. This could be the chance though on lap 170 of the event. No, it's not through 3 and 4. 31 laps to go. We're not going to get there in time, and we're looking now at that clock going further and further down. 10 minutes and under now. We are looking, and now you look at Anteli making a move to the inside, and Anteli will try and run that apron line. That's not going to work. He's going to lose out on the exit.
Yeah, and here we go as Anteli's just running that inside line. They're almost going to go rim to rim as they come once again through corners number 3 and 4. Up high is David Baker in the background. Not much he can do there. Here comes Penttinen on perhaps the reversal. Nothing's going to be in it here, so just waiting for Pelaaja to start attacking. He has to get off her the throttle early behind Teemu Toika. Now the lead battle is going to be ongoing, as well as the battle for 3rd and 4th.
And I wonder if Pelaaja is waiting for the moment, and he can't afford to wait too long. Waiting cost everybody at the Daytona 500, which gave Eric Mickey the race win and the 500. Now here at the Copper Classic, it's going to be all about, can you make that move, and can you do it before 5.5 minutes to go? Because in between 5.5 minutes and the end of this event, which is double the length you normally see in green flag running towards the end, an incident happens between that time. Racing is over. Little Otto versus Baker side by side. Baker is really putting a dagger through Little Otto's heart for position 6.
Yeah, and Lunoloto, he might not actually have the late run speed. These tires might be used up, don't know. But either way, he's going to have to try to force his way through. Great battling going on, meanwhile, for 8th on back. We're talking as if we're almost 5 to go. We still got 8 minutes and 20 seconds of racing to go, which is going to give us plenty of racing. I don't think we're going to get to 200, but we're going to get a pretty good chunk of it done. So we still got some racing ahead of us. So George Gruber, he's running very close to Pete Harrod for 9th and 10th position. As they almost make contact, they get themselves running through into 1 and 2.
Yes, they do, as Harrod goes high, Barraclough goes low. Harrod looking to pick the run up off the exit. I think he can, I think he will. He'll now look to attack George Gruber here on the outside through the dogleg. In through 3 and 4 they'll go, and, well, no changes of position. Train of 7 is now again, you look at this, Baker's running the apron trying to make some moves. Battle for the lead now comes along. Antti Pelaaja is looking for the opportunity. He's not finding it yet. Anteli now wants to try and get the attack.
Meanwhile, Niskanen almost had an incident in the 002. He lost it coming off of 3 and 4, and he did hit the pit wall.
Caution, we will have a caution, a late caution. Casper de Kort is the driver. The Dutchman gets himself spun. That was with Roy Cunningham into 1 and 2. Cunningham went low, the gap wasn't there. De Kort loses it. We will be able to go green again, but we will be down to about 3 minutes or 6 laps, Cam.
Yeah, not much time left to go here as we're on lap 176 of 200, which means that we basically got, this is probably going to be, I mean, probably knock off another 3 or 4 minutes of this. So yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting. It means we'll probably have a good 10-lap sprint to the finish, maybe a 6-lap sprint to the finish.
And crucially enough, Teemu Toika held off Antti Palaja in that run. Held off Fernando Antli, Marco Penttinen, Stefan Schlacker as well. David Baker, though, Cam, was the most aggressive driver of the lot. And that's a scary prospect when you know David Baker is not afraid to make moves late.
No, I don't think any of these drivers are going to be afraid to make moves late. That's my concern. Because we get another caution, it's going to be another couple of minutes gone, wasted behind the pacing car. What can you do? We still got 17 cars on the lead lap. We'll have to find out. I mean, really, Fernando has been working himself very aggressively through this field. He'll be right up here on the outside in the second row. And, well, we have to just see. I mean, there's really nothing else left to say.
Well, it's going to be about nerve. Who can hold it? Who can swallow it? And who doesn't have it at all and has sold it to the next man for $5 extra bucks? Teemu Toika then holds the advantage in the field. Antti Palaja will look to try and be the aggressor for inertia and keep himself going. But my goodness, have we drawn ourselves into a showdown at Phoenix International Raceway. Don't forget, after this, in just 45-ish minutes time, we will have the Skip Barber 2K World Cup presented by DES Simulations. See all your favourite drivers: Philippe Lebert, Vinicius Rocha, Iru Nom, Borja Zazo. You can even talk Johnny Gindi. The list goes on and on and on for that one. Make sure you check that out, of course. When you're talking here about the Copper Classic, of course, a big shout out has to go to the Lion Tamer Beard Care, who are sponsoring this event. Make sure that you tame your mane. But Cam,
yes,
what are you feeling if you are Teemu Toika in the front of this field and you've held off drivers before, but now you've got to go do it again?
Well, I'm excited, personally. This is going to be a dramatic finish to this race, and if I was going to be Teemu Toika, he'd probably not be very excited at all, just waiting for the pacing car to get out of the way. He's going to go probably take a couple of loops around. If he needs to run the inside line, he will. And then he'll cross the finish line, and wherever he ends up, he ends up.
I've raced with Teemu Toika before. He's surprisingly one of the more animated Finnish drivers. So,
oh, okay.
I've heard him be very vocal and very upset. But now, we are a lap before we go green once again. By my reckoning, on 107 lap times, we're going to have ourselves a 3-minute warning, there or thereabouts, when we cross the start-finish line. And that is going to mean we will have ourselves around 6 laps, maybe 7 laps worth of action to end racing, unless we get a caution. Any caution from now ends the event right here. So that's what everybody has at stake. Toika to take the championship lead, Palaja to take a victory, Antli to continue his form, Blacker or Baker to throw a spanner in the mix, or maybe Little Luoto to bring the championship back. Pace car down in, Toika gets going early, and look at Penttinen make the run for third.
Checked out, there's your whole shot that he wanted, but will he have the time? So it's side-by-side action between Antli and Penttinen. That's the decider. And here comes Palaja. So Palaja, he's going to make a late move into the inside here, going through 3 and 4. No, he can't stick it.
He can't stick it, but that was all a wiggle through 2 from Toika. He's been struggling there. Antli struggles, so Penttinen takes third. Penttinen looking good. They're all looking wiggly now. They're all feeling the nerve. Schlacker dives to the inside, looking for position number 4 now.
Fire to the wall.
Oh, and that will end it. Toika has won the Copper Classic with 1 vehicle in the wall, a certain George Gruber of Torque Freak Racing, and that contact with the hair flip Kip Stevens ends the racing prematurely. What a shame once again, but Teemu Toika will be your classic, or your Copper Classic champion, shall we say. And he's done it by being in the right place at the right time, the same way the Daytona 500 ended, Cam.
Yeah, I mean, and for Teemu Toika, I mean, he'll probably be moderately excited. So, you know, it's good for him. I mean, hey, good running. He did lead laps. He did fight off Pelayo. So I'm just going to say, you know, congratulations to him. And you can see the incident between George Gruber and Kip Stevens there. Gruber was defending the inside line. Kip Stevens elected not to let him defend the inside line. So he dedicated to the inside line. They just made contact. And that was that. So unfortunate that we brought this thing under caution, but what can you do?
What can you do indeed? We weren't able to get all the laps in, but now we are just 2 laps away from ending this event. And my goodness, Cam, there is a reason why this has been questioned as being an event. It's one that I don't think many people thought would be popular. I don't think it has been. But what it has been is very special for the Major Series, because this is proof that you need to be a master of all vehicles, even vehicles that next to nobody has driven.
Well, I wouldn't say next to nobody. It does have a community in that. For me, it's been difficult. I think the racing probably could have used 50 laps off top of it, but it's just... it's tough. You know, we saw a lot of little incidents that wouldn't have really been a big deal on their own, but with every single time you pull out a caution, you dump out 5 minutes one at a time, and it's just not what you want.
Not what you want, it's not what you need, but it's more rather what you get. The white flag will come out then here at the circuit of Phoenix. 1 minute, 7 seconds left to get yourself around here and drag yourself home. Sometimes it's not about who's the fastest in qualifying. Sometimes it's not even about who's the fastest during the race, but more rather it's about being in the right place at the right time to be the aggressor and be the attacker. We've had 15 cautions here today. It's been a lot. It's been a hard working slog for all these drivers out here. But one fact is certain: Finland stand on top of the oval in Europe. 1, 2, and 3, they will stay. And we have seen some brilliant battling going on all throughout this one. I think at this stage I can definitely declare this. Rounding turn 3, rounding turn 4, the Bushfinks have a star. They have a very good star in the number 46 machine. Teemu Toika will take the Copper Classic. Not only will he take the top Copper Classic, he will take the championship lead as well. Teemu Toika wins at Phoenix.
And congratulations to the 46 machine. Good drive. I think a lot of people had a very good drive here, as the time should have expired. The light's out on the pace truck, and a lot of people are pulling off. So I'm a bit concerned here. Are we going to get one last lap?
No, I should think that
we shouldn't, because the time expired. It's 1:58, but everyone's still lined up as if we're going to have a shotgun.
Ooh.
Okay, everyone is going. No, Dan. Okay, so they everyone just clarified. I think they just took the white this time, and now they're coming in. So odd things, but everyone did say that it is in fact going to end up yellow. So don't do anything stupid.
Don't do anything stupid. I think that's what we're certainly seeing.
There we go.
Now we'll declare that the race is over. Now we'll say that Teemu
Extra
Toika
parade
wins.
lap.
Oh, why not? Pace car comes in. Teemu Toika wins at Phoenix. Easy as you like.
So there you go. I don't know. They just let him do a 1 lap shootout. But either way, they told him to basically just finish it under yellow. So race over. And that's that.
Simply as. There's fantastic work that we've seen from all of them today. 186 laps completed. A lot of work, hard graft has come into play. The result finishes as follows. Teemu Toika then wins the event. The times don't matter. Antti Pelayo comes home in second, but it's Finland 1, 2, 3 as Marko Penttinen comes home in third. Stefan Schlacker, he'd been in the wars all day, but he'd been in the wars with the biggest gun fighting to the front. He'll finish home in fourth as the donuts happen now for Teemu Toika, and we will certainly love watching them. It's Antoli in fifth, Baker sixth, Pete Harrod seventh, Tapani Linluoto championship lead lost in eighth, Barraclough in ninth, and Marcus Niskanen rounds out 10. Donuts for all. Oh, he's hit the wall there, Cam. That's a points deduction. Oh, it's another hit of the wall. That's another points deduction.
No, I was doing the Kevin Harvick thing where you drive into the wall and then you do the burnout. So he's fine. He's fine.
Oh, he's good. Okay, moving on then. Position 11 will go to Kip Stevens, who caused the final caution of the night. Roy Cunningham will finish in 12th with Kurt Crum in position 13. James Ewens comes home 14th with Trevor Vavrovsky 15th and George Gruber 16th. Then we hit the vehicles laps down. Casper de Court, Aldis Putekilis, Dawson Brock, Travis Henderson, Hector Pereira and Stephen Baxter. Arguably the favourite for this event, Jamie Fluke, the Daytona 500 winner Eric Mika, James Merrills and Koyoshi Kelly were those who failed to finish this event. We're going to step aside very briefly. When we come back, post-race show here on RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live. This is the Copper Classic.
Once again, photo finish here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Will it be Tim Hogan? It's going to be Christopher DeMeritt at the line.
For the second consecutive event, we ended under caution. But that doesn't matter for the number 46 machine who won here today. It's more than just about how many cautions there are. It's more than just the fact that we've had some great battles up and down the field. It's about who finishes first, and if you're not first, you're last. Teemu Toika here will be joining us in just a moment's time on iRacing Live and RaceSpotTV. The Copper Classic has come to an end here. Hashtag do you mind Jake Sperry, the observer of sim racing with Cam Walsh and Hugo Louise. And joining me right now in the commentary booth is Mr. Teemu Toika. Teemu, not only is it a race victory, but it's a championship lead now you take away from this as well. How are you feeling first and foremost?
I'm speechless. I don't know how I did that. I honestly don't know. From the heats, I missed the start because I was repairing my car with my mates, and I last minute I signed up to the session and missed the start, and somehow fought my way to fifth from the 26th, and just the I don't know, the feature was pretty broken up from the cautions, but I was fortunate enough to and lucky enough to make the strategy work.
Well, fortunate, shall we say, is always something that blesses racers from time to time. Of course, you said it yourself, you weren't actually there to take the start for the first heat, but you battled through it, you got to here. Let's talk about, though, the final stages of the event, because you knew that the event was going to go away from laps to time, which is always a little bit more difficult. You had a feisty anti-Pelaya just behind you who was wanting to try and make the moves. What was your nerves like heading into those final stages, and how did you defend from anti-Pelaya?
I was so nervous when I took the lead. I felt that I somehow had the fastest car in the top 5 from the I don't know, last 20 laps or so. And for the last restart, I put too much weight checker, and I understeered into the turn 1 pretty heavily, and somehow was able to keep it in the lead. But yeah, I just feel that the car was amazingly fast. I don't know what to say, and I guess I was pretty up to pace, and I was pretty overfueled from the all the cautions. But yeah. I still can't believe it.
Well, believe it you must, and you take the championship lead heading to the Sports Car Showdown in April. So, Circuit of the Americas, you have a choice. Do you want the Corvette, do you want the GTEs, or do you want the GT3s?
We'll have to see. I've driven the GTEs a lot lately, not in the races, however, but we've got another league series coming up with the GTs, so I think it'll be pretty good preparation for both of them.
Well, I certainly think it will. So before we let you go, I'll give you a chance to save your victory. Shout outs and sponsors and anyone you'd like to thank.
I'd like to thank Team Bushfink for the amazing support of TeamSpeak, and for Club Finland for the spectator support, and yeah, just thank you all, and thank you the league administration for making this happening.
Teemu Toika elated as ever as he comes with a race victory out of today. Cam, you've wandered down the pit stalls at the back. You found an Austrian named Stefan Schlacker who came home in 4th.
Yes, the 4th position to that number 117 machine. Stefan, long day, a lot of battling, a lot of laps, a lot of cautions. Take me through it.
Yeah, it's quite impressive for me to finish so high up. I just came into this and wanting to take away the lead from Georg in the German region, and then coming up with a 4th place in this crazy race is just incredible.
It's certainly not your sports car. This thing isn't going out Beer Rouge anytime soon. It is purpose-built, short track, oval, 800 and something horsepower. How long did it take for you to get comfortable in this thing going around the ovals here?
Well, my setup is a very long run setup, so I knew it's gonna be hard for me going into this race. I had lots of oversteer in and out of turns, but the longer the race went and the lower the fuel got, the more comfortable I got with the car, and sure paid off, I think.
Now, there is a lot of battling going on, a lot of cautions. How long did it take for you to get comfortable riding around in traffic here?
Honestly, riding around here in this car, I was highly uncomfortable running in draft or just around people, because this car moves around so much because of the horsepower and how lightweight it is. So it really, I felt myself very uncomfortable, so I was really happy to get those lead laps in.
All right, well, you had a good run there. Unfortunately, we didn't get the green flag finish, but you know what? I'll give you the floor. It'll be all yours, Stefan. Thank you very much for hopping in the booth with us. Who would you like to give a shout out to or thank?
Oh, well, I sure have to thank my sponsors, GT Omega, and of course all the guys from F4H for helping me out. Also the guys from Total Downforce Racing, my friends, who also helped me out a lot in this race. Otherwise I wouldn't have been here.
All right, Stefan Schlacher, thank you so much for hopping in the booth with us. You have a good one, and we'll see you in 1 month's time at Circuit of the America.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, so the 117 machine coming home in 4th after starting in 21st position, Jake. Not a bad day.
Not a bad day's worth of work, but unfortunately, that's going to be all that we have time for here on RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live. A massive thanks to everybody who's been putting together everything in the majors, not just here with the international majors, not just here with the Euro majors, but of course the Atlantic and the Pacific majors, which you can find on LSR TV and the Global Sim Racing channel in just a few hours' time. If you want even more action to come from the Copper Classic, of course, sponsored by Lion Tamer Beard Care. Make sure that you tame your mane. Of course, special thanks here at RaceSpotTV have to go to And Designs, our official graphics partners here at RaceSpotTV. Istvan Ballo and his track cam packs. Make sure that you check them out. So, of course, Istvan Ballo is the official helmet designer of Mercedes Formula 1 driver Valtteri Bottas for this year. So that's the sort of level that you have from his work and action. Special thanks also go to the likes of Nick Thyssen for the live timing and scoring. Our thanks go to Simon Grossman for our animations, which of course are brought together by Appgeneer and ATVO, our official graphics engine here at RaceSpotTV. Don't forget, in a 20 minutes time, myself and Will Vincent will be back at a circuit nobody knows to talk about the circuits, the racing action that happens in the Skip Barber 2K World Cup presented by DES Simulations. And a little bit later on tonight as well, we will have the Indy Elite Series coming back. Will Vincent, Randy Cheneth. That's going to be something that is worth showing. But for the time being, that's been Hugo Louise behind the cameras. That's been Mr. Cameron Walsh, who has been to my left-hand side. And I am hashtag Do You Mind Jake Sperry, the observer of sim racing. It's not often I observe Oval, but I observe Oval today. I observe Teemu Toika taking himself to the top of the mountain, the top of the championship, and all those who lay before him, he now has to battle along with, because it's heading to the Circuit of the Americas, the circuit known for a lot of incident points, the circuit known for some intense battling. Make sure you check out all the action that we have here today on RaceSpotTV. And my goodness, are you in for a show? Have a good one.